For more than a century, the Yankees have been a major part of the heartbeat of New York. Through the years, fans have cheered their pinstriped heroes while witnessing some of the most successful eras in the history of professional sports. Hope springs eternal on the diamond every opening day, and the start of the 2008 campaign is no different. A former Yankee world champion now leads the way, and he carries the goal of a 27th world title on his back. He is surrounded by fresh faces with limitless talent. These stars in the making are learning under Yankee legends considered to be the best in the business. Not only have the men who have played on this stage become household names, the stage itself has become legendary.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
The building has been home to moments that have defined the game. And as the lights prepare to shine for the final season at the Cathedral of Baseball, the future is as bright as ever.
Generations mixing at the stadium with Yogi Berra on hand to watch today's stars play the final opener at the current Yankee Stadium. Derek Jeter's been through this many times. It's the first opening day for Jabba Chamberlain, and perhaps we'll see him set up for Mariano Rivera. And we hope you're having a terrific night. Welcome to the Tri-State Ford pregame. Bob Lorenz along with David Cohn. After yesterday's rainout, we are once again getting ready for the start of the 2008 season, which has the Yankees facing the Toronto Blue Jays. For those of you who remember David from our inaugural season on Yes, welcome back.
It's good to be back, Bob. Thank you.
All right, now it's going to be an interesting season after the rain. You know the old saying, let's play two. Let's just play one. I think that's the mantra at the stadium tonight. The rainout yesterday, how does it affect the players who were so anxious to finally get that regular season game played, and it didn't happen?
Well, it's certainly I think it's going to affect the younger guys a little more. I mean, those are the guys that get that wide-eyed deer-in-the-headlights look. But I think the veteran guys also, it affects the starting pitcher more. He's the guy who gears up. He's the guy who probably can't sleep last night after being so excited. And he's the guy who's going to be a little extra strong today. So really, I think Wong will set the tone in the first inning.
All right, now let's talk about this. They lose an off day today, so they've got to play 20 in a row. That's the longest stretch to begin a season in franchise history. Does losing that one off day, is it that significant?
Well, I think it is. Maybe not so much on the long term as far as game after game, but I think that off day is important, especially for new guys or young guys that are looking for an apartment, all the off-the-field stuff that you need that one extra off day to do. Really, in New York, it's probably more important than anywhere else.
And you'd be finding what, like where the best Chinese is around the place that you're moved into, where the best pizza is, right?
Little things. Little things are big. I always used to try to take the young guys under my wing and say, hey, do you need help finding an apartment? How about learning your way to the Bronx? How are you going to get to the Bronx? Knowing where to go, where to park. Most of the guys, I think, probably know, but finding an apartment in New York's not an easy thing to do.
All right, well, let's get out to the stadium now for the very latest. Kim Jones is standing by with the Clubhouse Report presented by Infiniti. And Kim, now I'm not blaming the weather on you yesterday, but I trust you have a better weather forecast for us tonight. I'm hoping anyway.
Well, guys, we actually have breaking news because at 6:01 p.m., the grounds crew came out to applause because they are taking the tarp off this field. That is indeed very good news for everyone here, but especially these players who, for the second day in a row, were disappointed because batting practice on the field was canceled. Both the Blue Jays and Yankees worked in the indoor cages, something that I'm pretty sure most of them have tired of by now, and they are very optimistic we are going to indeed have baseball tonight. There is a gusty thunderstorm in the forecast, I am told, but obviously this grounds crew very confident that they're going to be okay for a while because, like I said, the tarp is coming off. And in terms of updates, we don't really have much of an update lineup-wise from yesterday. Joe Girardi saying he would go with the same lineup. He has indeed done that, and of course we are going to see Roy Halladay against Chien-Ming Wang tonight on the mound. All
right, well, that Yankees lineup features the Alex Rodriguez in the cleanup spot coming off an MVP season. Talk to me about the way Alex is feeling, knowing that he's back. He didn't think he'd be, but now we know he's back for the long haul, Kim.
Yeah, well, surprise, surprise. Today was business as usual for Alex Rodriguez. Rain or no rain, and it was raining earlier. He was out on the field running. He was doing his regular pregame warm-up, like I said, no matter what the weather held. But for Alex Rodriguez and all of his teammates, this was like Groundhog Day.
It feels like opening day. It's like a mulligan. You know, you get another chance, and you know, whatever nervous butterflies we had, hopefully we left them at home yesterday.
We all know how coaching or managerial changes can go, but why did Joe Girardi, it seems so seamlessly, win over the veterans on this team?
Well, I think the fact he played here, he won a world championship here. He did a nice job in 05 as a bench coach. And I think there's a familiarity from the players, from the veteran players, and the young players just follow the lead.
Alex, you know all about following up an MVP year, and you're going to do it again. What do you do for an encore? Do you compare numbers? Do you think about what you did last year every day this season?
Well, the first thing you don't do is think about yourself. I mean, this is all about a team. It's about, you know, our ultimate goal is to win a world championship, number 27 for the franchise, and really just focus on the present moment, one day at a time.
With that lineup remaining the same, that means Robinson Cano is batting sixth today. I talked to him yesterday. He was so excited. I talked to him today. He's still excited, ready to play this game for sure. And he said, you know what? The weather's even better today than it was yesterday because it's warmer. So Robbie Cano looking to get out there and bat sixth, guys.
Well, we know personality-wise, Johnny Damon leading off tonight. You know, he's always got that anticipation, that lively spirit. But, Kim, we're going to see him in a little more of a hybrid role this season, some left field, some center field, maybe even a little DH. How is he feeling going into the season?
Well, he feels good, which is actually the headline when it comes to Johnny Damon, because as you guys recall, last year we talked so often about his legs and his injuries, that sort of thing. But like all of his teammates, Johnny Damon today very much ready to get going.
Seems like this day has gone on for a long time. You know, we left Florida and we were ready to go. So we've had a couple of days off now. So I think it's time for us to start playing games again.
One thing I noticed yesterday morning in your clubhouse was the energy and the enthusiasm. And I'm guessing you like that sort of thing that you see, especially from the infusion of young talent, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it makes us older guys feel young again. It just brings the fun in baseball back, and it's great. I mean, who knows what would have happened to our team if we didn't bring up the young guys last year. But we had finished up, had a great season. Unfortunately, we didn't accomplish what we set out to do. But you know, these guys are going to help us from day one until 162, and I think these guys are good enough too that they can help carry us into the playoffs and beyond.
And what a difference a year makes, Johnny. We're not asking about your legs. We're not talking about any sort of aches and pains. It's almost like you feel like the old Johnny Damon.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I definitely have a lot to go out there and prove. And, you know, after 162, we'll see where the numbers are, how the team's record is. And that's how you really dictate a season. You know, one day is not going to do much. But it would definitely be great if we did get off on the right foot and come out with the victory, especially against a tough pitcher like Doc Holliday.
At the risk of getting accused of jinxing someone here, guys, Johnny Damon actually hits Roy Halladay better than any other Yankee. He's a .328 career hitter against him, 22 for 67 with a home run. I asked Johnny what the key is against Halladay. He said, just make him throw strikes. He's good enough to work that strike zone, and as we all know, he's one of the best in baseball at that.
If you bring up a jinx, doesn't that create a jinx? I'm not sure what the...
Probably.
Hey, let's talk about, you mentioned to Johnny about the young players, and mainly when we talk about the youth on this team, we're talking about Ian Kennedy, Phil Hughes, Jabba Chamberlain. A lot of expectations on these guys this year. How are they handling it?
Well, they've been handling it for a while now. They certainly are well aware of them. Mostly they embrace them. They understand the expectations. They expect good things from themselves as well. Of course, we won't see Phil or Ian tonight. We could see Jabba. But for all three of the young pitchers, this will be the first time they've ever been introduced on opening day at Yankee Stadium. And it is, of course, in the last year of the stadium. I asked each of them about those feelings.
It's going to be something special. You know, I haven't really, been here long enough to, quite get the understanding of, everything that this place means to the fans and the players and stuff. But it's definitely an exciting time, and my first opening day to be the last year at Yankee Stadium is certainly something I'll never forget.
It's going to be special just because, it's the last year at Yankee Stadium, but, it's also my first year, breaking camp with the team. So, it's special in a lot of ways. My dad gets to be here, too, so that makes it even better.
It's going to be something to remember. I thought about today and how it's going to be. You know, it's going to be a different type of day and different than last year opening day. It's a lot different than in Legends Field and High A. But it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm going to try to take it all in.
Jabba Chamberlain mentioned his dad, Harlan Chamberlain, is indeed here. He is actually behind me on the field taking this all in. I think Harlan's enjoying this just as much as anyone, I can tell you guys that. One Chien-Ming Wang note, he really wanted to pitch yesterday. It was his 28th birthday. He thought it would be a special day. As it was, he had to settle for cake, which was purchased for him or brought to him by the Taiwanese media. That being said, everyone in that clubhouse seems confident. Chien-Ming Wang obviously ready to go tonight. Pitching coach Dave Island telling me that one of the things he's looking for from Wang is for him to pitch in more. He also said that Wang's been working on the changeup, which is coming along. We may not see a whole lot of that changeup tonight, though, guys. Island said that Wang will throw it mostly against lefties. The Blue Jays just one true lefty in their lineup, Lyle Overbay. Greg Zahn's a switch hitter, so maybe in coming starts we'll look more for that Wang lefty. Tonight they'll probably settle for that sinker.
And they'll settle for a birthday celebration stretching out over 2 days, I think. That's the way to look at it.
You got it.
All right, Kim, thanks. We'll see you again on the post game.
Okay.
All right. We're just getting started here on the Tri-State Ford pregame. When we come back, we'll spotlight Joe Girardi as he gets set to begin his first season as Yankees manager. We'll have a special look back at some of the history that surrounds Yankee Stadium. And David will break down tonight's starting pitchers, Roy Halladay and Chien-Ming Wang. Stay with us right here on Yes. And we're back on Yes as we continue to get you ready for the Yankees and Blue Jays in the final opener that will take place at the current Yankee Stadium. Now, the new building will undoubtedly be home to many historic moments throughout the upcoming years, but the legacy that the old one leaves behind will never be forgotten. At the dawn of a new season that will serve as its farewell send-off, here now is a look back at some of the stadium's rich history. The lumber yard, located on the corner of 161st and River Avenue in the Bronx, seemed an unlikely place to ever be considered hallowed ground. But when the Yankees broke ground on their new stadium in 1922, they laid the foundation for a juggernaut, the likes of which have never been seen in sports. While most of baseball was played in parks, the Yankees would build a stadium, a monument, something grandiose. 3 tiers, over 60,000 seats. And on opening day of 1923, Babe Ruth would christen this place with a home run to the short porch and right and receive all the credit for building it. Although one team would become synonymous with the park, the stadium would not be limited to just baseball. Boxing history would also be made within its confines. The Brown bomber Joe Louis would knock out Max Schmeling in 1938. The NFL would be brought to the forefront in this building as well, with the Colts and Giants popularizing the pro game. As far as the regular tenants of this stadium, legends also emerged from their ranks. Names like Larson and Rizzuto played within these walls, and Lou Gehrig would declare himself the luckiest man on the face of the earth. The generations would pass from Joe DiMaggio to Maris and Mantle, all the way to Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez. But one thing remained the same: the winning tradition. More postseason games have been played here than in any other ballpark. It has housed 39 American League champions, 26 world champions, and is still looking for more. Next season, the Yankees will move into a new building. The history and tradition that has been built in this place will be going next door with the team. With one more season at its current address, the final chapter of this story has yet to be written. All right, so obviously a lot of memories yet to be made. This season, the veterans would like it to result, well, everybody would, in a championship. Give me the veteran perspective. I know their motivation isn't solely, well, let's close out the stadium with a win, but it's got to mean something, right?
Well, it does. I think the veterans, Jeter and Mariano and certainly Jorge Posada, they understand the significance of Yankee Stadium and what's going on here. But I think more so, they're just happy to be out of Florida. They want to get the season going. As far as the young guys, certainly those guys are going to be a little wide-eyed and maybe a little, geeked up, so to speak. But I think they feed off of each other. I think the veterans get a kick out of that. They feed off of that energy like Shelley Duncan brought last year. And, I think it's a good mix. You have the youth and the veterans at the last year at Yankee Stadium.
All right, well, speaking of a mix, it's an interesting mix in the Yankees bullpen this season. Let's take a look at the guys they decided to bring. Rivera, Chamberlain, Farnsworth, Hawkins, Bruni, Ollendorf, Traber, and Abaladejo. And let me start with Mr. Eighth Inning, Jabba Chamberlain. Okay, we got a sampling of him last year. He was terrific in that role. The question, David, is can he do it over an entire season?
Well, that's a legitimate question, but I think on the flip side, the positive part is you're going to have him for the whole season as opposed to just part-time last year. I think you can expect big things from Jabba, but you know, if he does sort of, have a rough spot here and there, you've got some veterans. You've got LaTroy Hawkins, and hopefully Kyle Farnsworth turns into the guy they thought they signed a few years ago.
All right, now in the meantime, there was a lot of talk that even Joe Girardi had come out and said, I don't have to have a lefty in the bullpen. They did decide to bring Billy Traber after a terrific spring. What do you think about that move?
Well, I like it. I think you need a lefty in the bullpen, especially somebody like this. As you see his motion there, it's kind of a big, gangly, a lot of arms and legs, and a big, slow breaking ball. And that's the type of stuff you want for maybe a one-inning guy or a guy that might have to get out Big Papi late in the game.
All right, great strikeout to walk ratio in the spring. He had great numbers and kept the ERA down. So when they called on him in the spring, Traber got the job done. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, he's won 19 games in back-to-back seasons, and this evening, he'll start an opener for the first time in his career. David will break down Chien-Ming Wang and his counterpart, Roy Halladay, next on the Tri-State Ford pregame. Bob Lorenz and David Cohn back with you on the Tri-State Ford pregame show. He celebrated his 28th birthday yesterday. He takes the ball for the Yankees tonight. The opener, it's Chien-Ming Wang. Let's talk about him, David. Not great numbers in the spring, but is part of that reason because he worked on a variety of pitches?
Well, I think so. I think when talking to Dave Island, the pitching coach, they wanted to work on his secondary pitches. He needed to come up with a changeup, and he needed to throw his breaking balls, you see right there for strikes, especially on days when the sinker's not sinking. It's sinking right there, but on days when he struggles, he's going to need his secondary pitches and something to go through. And you know, an example of the struggles right there is when a sinker gets up, he gets hit hard. And as you see there's probably a little breaking ball that he got up, and you see Jorge Posada's reaction. They really need to get that secondary pitch down. And here's from spring training, a nice-looking changeup right there. That was the key for spring training for him, was to work on that particular pitch. And, you know, regardless of whether you're needed or not, as long as you can show it to the hitters, you put that element of mystery back into their minds.
And do you agree with the belief that a sinker baller like him actually gets better during a game? They get a little tired, that ball tends to sink even a little more?
I think so. I think that's one of the concerns going into tonight, that he's got an extra day. He might be a little strong, and when he's a little strong, his sinker gets up. And there's going to be days like that. Very rarely you're going to go out there and have your best stuff, and your sinker's always going to be down, which is why the changeup and the secondary pitches become so much more important.
All right, now Roy Halladay gets the ball for the Toronto Blue Jays. 6th straight opening day start for him, and he is a true staff ace.
He really is. He's a cut above. The thing I like about him is he can throw breaking balls to both sides of the plate. They're late, they're quick. He's got a great running, moving fastball, as you saw right there, and that backdoor breaking ball right there, which starts out off the plate and comes back on. And then he can also variate the break right there with a tight little cutter to Jeter for a strikeout pitch. This guy's a cut above. He's got all the pitches, and he can variate his arm angle as well.
Now, he has been hampered by injuries over the last 4 seasons, although the last couple seasons, 16-win seasons for him, that's even a down season in a way. But, you know, it's interesting. Last 8 April starts, 6-0 with an ERA of 2, which means when the season begins, he's ready to go, unlike some guys.
Yeah, he's right out of the gates. He's always ready to go. And a lot of that is because he features so many different types of pitches and has such great command. He can variate, as I said, his breaking ball to make it short and tight. He can make it big. He can throw it to both sides of the plate. He's got great run on his fastball. This guy's a cut above. He's one of the elite.
All right, time now for highlights from yesterday's matchup in South Florida between the Mets and the Marlins. They come your way courtesy of Mohegan Sun, and it was the highly anticipated debut of Johan Santana in a Mets uniform. Bottom of the first, he gets off to a good start. He strikes out Hanley Ramirez. It was scoreless after 1. Then the Mets came up with a big 4th inning. Bases loaded. David Wright takes that Mark Hendrickson pitch to the gap in left center. It clears the bases as it bounces around out there on the warning track. 3 runs are in. Mets up 6-0. Bottom of the 4th, Santana rolling, strikes out Jorge Cantu. 8 strikeouts in 7 innings. He allowed just 3 hits as the Mets picked up a 7-2 win. Now, there were some other terrific opening acts in the National League. The Padres beating the Astros, Jake Peavy, 7 innings of scoreless baseball, and the Dodgers beating the Giants, Brad Penny, 6 2/3 innings of scoreless ball. That's a good start for these guys.
Yeah, that really helps out Joe Torre in his debut out in L.A. The guy, you know, there's always this label we put on the guy who has the nastiest stuff in the league, Mr. McFilthy. To me, it's Jake Peavy. This guy's got a razor blade slider. It's quick and late. He's a true strikeout guy. He's just coming into his own. Great year last year. Great start today. You look for him. If you're looking for a preseason Cy Young Award pick, Jake Peavy's a good slot.
All right, let's take a quick break. Coming up, he puts his stamp on the Yankees during spring training, and tonight marks the first official game of the Joe Girardi era. We'll have a look at the new skipper next on the Tri-State Ford pregame. And we're back once again on the pregame with a look at Joe Girardi, a three-time world champion as a catcher for the Yankees during their turn-of-the-century dynasty, who tonight will lead the team in his first game as its manager. Now, Girardi is the 17th former Yankee player to go on and serve the club in a managerial capacity, and many people think that he is the right man to lead the Yanks back to the pinnacle of baseball. November 1st was an historic day as the Yankees introduced Joe Girardi as the 32nd manager in franchise history. The dawn of a new day for the Yanks, and an unforgettable one for Girardi.
Press conference was quite a day. The flashes were somewhat overwhelming, the amount of flashes that you could actually pile into one room. But it was a wonderful day for my wife, Kim, and I. Because one of my goals in life was I wanted to manage the New York Yankees. And as a person, you don't know if that time's ever going to come. I didn't think it was going to come this soon, and I'm very fortunate, and I understand that. And I look forward to this challenge, but it was a great day, because anytime you set goals for yourself and you get an opportunity to accomplish those goals, it's a special moment.
Girardi takes over for a man he learned under as a player and as a bench coach, Joe Torre. Comparisons to his predecessor are inevitable, but the new skipper is focused on forging his own path.
I think it's important that I don't try to be something that I'm not, and I learned that valuable lesson as a player, actually here in 1996. When I was replacing Mike Stanley and tried to become a home run hitter and something that I wasn't. And as a manager, you know, it would be foolish for me to try to be Joe Torre, because I can't be Joe Torre. It wouldn't work for me, and I would probably be a bad example of Joe Torre. So be myself.
Girardi finds himself leading a group of his peers, but the core veterans know that his professionalism and attitude will ease the transition from teammate to manager.
You know, it was a little awkward at first having Joe address the team, but the one thing is I'm familiar with Joe. I understand what he stands for. He works extremely hard, and he was the bench coach a couple years ago, so I think he's very familiar with most of the guys on the team as well. So I think it's going to be a smooth transition for him.
I respect Joe Girardi. He was my teammate and special player, and I think that he's going to be fine. The people that he's surrounding himself with going to help him, and he's going to be okay.
It's definitely strange. You know, Joe, you know, not only was a teammate, but he was a good friend of mine also. So it definitely makes it, you know, kind of strange that now he's my manager. But I think he's going to do a great job. I see the way that guys are responding to him in camp here and stuff like that. And, you know, I'm looking forward to it.
He's got a chip on his shoulder. That's the way he played. That's the way he's going to manage. And, you know, he taught me a lot of things when I was coming up. And I know that's the way he's going to manage. He's going to manage to really beat down the opposition. That's the way he wants to play.
I think one thing with him is he pays attention to detail. And, you know, one of the things that when he was playing here, we really focused on the small ball, you know, bunting guys, hit and run, doing the little things. And I think, you know, that's the style of manager he's going to be.
This will be Girardi's second go-round as a Major League manager, and not only is he glad to be back in that position, but he's doing it in the perfect place.
It's great, you know, because I love my job. I love what I do. I love managing. I love being part of the team concept, preparation, the strategy of the game, and it's great to be in this uniform.
All right, David, let's talk about the perception of Joe Girardi, the fact that I think people went into camp thinking, well, he's going to kill these guys with a workout regimen and the extra work. Everybody made it out of camp okay. You've called him an information hound. He's a numbers cruncher, an organized guy. I think there's another school of thought that says he'll be hamstrung in decision-making because he's too much that way. Is that right or wrong?
Well, I never found it that way. You know, I thought he had the right balance. When I pitched, I wasn't necessarily a big information guy. I wanted, you know, the basics, but I always could trust him that he would not overload me. He knew which guys could handle information, which couldn't. He knows the personalities, and he's smart enough to know, you know, not to bombard guys, especially the ones who can't handle it.
Now, we heard a couple of the veterans say it is a little weird, Andy Pettitte, you know, playing for a guy that I used to play with. Would you find it a little weird?
At first it'd be a little weird, but I think everybody knew, even when he was a player, that he would saddle up next to Don Zimmer and Joe Torre, and that you know, you could sense that he was trying to learn everything he could, and you knew this was his goal, and it was almost like he was more excited to be a manager than he was a player.
Right. All right. Well, let's get to the starting lineups for tonight's game. The lineups courtesy of Empire City. The visiting Blue Jays look like this. Free agent acquisition David Eckstein starts at short. Shannon Stewart gets the call in left, followed by Alex Rios in right. Center fielder Vernon Wells has had great success success against the Yankees in his career, hitting .310 with 17 homers. PH Frank Thomas enters his 19th season and second with the Blue Jays. Lyle Overbay starts at first and bats sixth. Aaron Hill hits seventh. Marco Scudero mans the hot corner for the injured Scott Rowland. And Greg Zahn does the catching and completes the Toronto order. So let's talk about the Blue Jays. Yeah, they're getting better. They're trying to improve. They bring in Scott Rowland, and lo and behold, what happens? Rowland's on the DL, and hopeful that B.J. Ryan would come back as their closer, and he's not ready yet either, David.
Well, I think, yeah, you're right, and that's depressing when you've had nothing but injury problems over the last several years. Certainly, I think they're optimistic about B.J. Ryan at some point, and certainly Scott Rowland. It's depressing to lose him that soon, but it's not going to be that long. They brought those guys in for character, along with David Eckstein. Anytime you make trades for guys like Rowland and Eckstein, you're looking to build character in the clubhouse and change sort of the chemistry level that you're trying to attain.
And they've got to have a bounce-back season for Vernon Wells, who was hampered by a shoulder problem last year. I mean, Alex Rios was their most consistent hitter, and then they're going to need that out of Rios as well this year.
Well, they are. I think they look for Alex Rios to continue to get better and develop as a player. Vernon Wells is so highly thought of in the organization. When he had a chance to leave, they gave him a huge contract because of not only his talent on the field, but what type of a person and his makeup off the field as well.
All right, let's check out the Yankees lineup now for tonight's series opener. It's brought to you by Empire City as well. Johnny Damon leads off and plays left field. He's followed by the captain, Derek Jeter, then Bobby Abreu, and the reigning American League MVP, Alex Rodriguez, who was a career .320 hitter against Blue Jays pitching. Jason Giambi plays first base and bats fifth. Robinson Cano is behind him, batting sixth. The bottom third of the order is made up of switch-hitting catcher Jorge Posada, designated hitter Hideki Matsui, and center fielder Melky Cabrera, who is playing after appealing the suspension he incurred during the Yankees bench-clearing incident with the Rays in spring training. Let's talk about Alex Rodriguez now and the fact that he's back. And everybody says, well, you can't repeat what you did last year. Great numbers in an MVP season, but maybe Alex can.
Hey, I wouldn't put it past him. I don't know if I'd look for 14 home runs in April like he had last year. That might be once-in-a-lifetime type thing. But I look at that lineup, and where does it end and where does it begin? Talk about a circular lineup. And the guy who jumps out at me is Robinson Cano, who was red hot in spring training with a .460+ average and led the team in RBIs, and people compare him to Rod Carew. And how good can this kid be? I mean, he's already an all-star type second baseman, and the ceiling is still way up there for Robinson Cano.
Well, it's got to be encouraging that not only is Cano getting better each season, kind of pushing himself to do that, but as an opposing pitcher, wouldn't you look at that lineup and say, I was hoping this kid would have drop-off somewhere, and it just hasn't happened, and now they got him in the 6th spot in the order.
They got him in the 6th spot in the order, moving him up, and he may be the guy with the biggest ceiling, as I said before. Melky Cabrera bat 9th, he could be the leadoff guy. So really, there's no breaks in that lineup. As a pitcher, you just treat it 1 through 9, and you don't really feel like you can get an out here or there, or that you can pitch around any one guy. You've just got to go one by one and take your chances.
All right, we're going to take another break. When we come back, David and I will have some final thoughts before we send you out to the last opener at Yankee Stadium. You see some of the scenes, the players, again, highly anticipated, chomping at the bit to get out there and start the regular season. We're back after this. Well, much friendlier skies for tonight's season opener as opposed to yesterday. Johnny Damon enjoying the view, and certainly going to enjoy when first pitch is thrown and the regular season gets underway, and that happens just a few minutes from now. Good to have you back with us. Let's get some final thoughts now and start with Chen-Meng Wang and the fact that when will you know watching this game that he's right?
Well, you're going to look early. Certainly, as I said before, maybe the extra day's rest, he comes out a little strong. Sinker ballers, when they're a little strong, tend to be up. Maybe it might be a time for him to mix in a couple of breaking balls early. I'm going to watch him early and see how he settles in.
Now, expectations of this offense. Last season, everybody talked about a 1,000-run offense. They scored 968, but they did start off slow. Did these guys hear that? Did they feel that expectation, that pressure at all?
I don't know about pressure, but I think they're all excited about what this lineup can do. Everybody's kind of locked in now. Melky Cabrera is going to be your center fielder. He's going to bat 9th. He might as well be the leadoff guy. It's a circular type lineup. The sky's the limit. I'm anxious to see. I mean, where does it end? Where does it begin? We used to have an old saying, keep the line moving. Well, this line's going to be moving a lot this year.
All right, let's talk quickly about the bullpen. We've talked a little bit about it. How pivotal is that 7th inning, do you believe, this season for the Yankees? If we believe that Jabba will take care of the 8th and Mo will take care of the 9th.
Well, it's extremely important. We saw them toy with the idea of Jabba being a starter in spring training, but I think we all knew he'd probably end up back in the bullpen. But, as I said, LaTroy Hawkins could be a big key. Kyle Farnsworth's got a clean slate. Joe Girardi knows him, has caught him. You know, they really want to get that guy they thought they signed a few years ago, as we said before. And certainly Brian Bruni's kind of a sleeper, too. A guy with electric stuff, 20 pounds he lost in the offseason. You know, he could be your sleeper bullpen guy.
All right, well, we are just about ready to go at Yankee Stadium. The anticipation builds for the season opener between the Yankees and the Blue Jays. We're ready to go from the Bronx. Let's send it out to our broadcast colleague, Michael Kay. Michael?
Well, thanks a lot, Bob. You can see that the weather is cooperating. Blue skies overhead for this, the 84th home opener in the illustrious history of Yankee Stadium. When did it open? You know the deal. April 18th, 1923. And this man helped build the ballpark, so it's only appropriate that on that date against the Boston Red Sox, Babe Ruth hit the first home run here at this ballpark as the Yankees won that one 4-1. That was just the beginning of many great moments in this ballpark. Do you realize that 37 American League championships have been won here in the Bronx, and the New York Yankees have won 26 World Championships? No other baseball team even comes close to that number. Now, part of the beauty of Yankee Stadium, obviously, is the voice of Yankee Stadium. That's Bob Shepard. This year, he is going to start his 58th season at the public address microphone, although he's feeling a little under the weather today. He's not with us today. Jim Hall is filling in for him. We'll throw it upstairs to Jim Hall right now as he introduces the lineup for this opening night on Broadway.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 84th and final opening day here at Yankee Stadium. Please direct your attention now to the third baseline as we welcome today's visiting team, the Toronto Blue Jays. Head trainer, George Polis. Assistant trainer, Dave Abraham. Strength and conditioning coach, Donovan Santos. Equipment manager, Jeff Ross. In the bullpen catcher, Alex Andreopoulos. And batting practice pitcher, Jesus Figueroa. Video operations coordinator, Brian Abraham. And massage therapist, Ryan Richardson. The Blue Jay coaches, first base coach number 12, Ernie Witt. In the bullpen, the pitching coach, number 38, Brad Onsberg. Third base coach, number 45, Marty Peavy. Hitting coach, number 47, Gary Dumbo. In the bullpen coach, number 53, Bruce Walton. And the bench coach, number 55, Brian Butterfield. The Blue Jays non-starters, number 6, John McDonald. Number 20, Rod Barajas. Number 21, Buck Coates. Number 22, Brandon Lee. Number 24, Matt Stairs. Number 28, Sean Markham. Number 29, Dustin McGowan. Number 34, A.J. Burnett. Number 37, Scott Downs. Number 40, Brian Wolf. Number 45, Jeremy Mercado. Number 51, Jesse Leach. number 54, Jason Fraser. Number 56, Brian Talent. And number 59, Randy Wells. And now, the Blue Jays starting lineup. First, the manager, number 5, John Gibbons. Leading off at shortstop, number 11, David Eckstein. Batting second, left fielder, number 23, Shannon Stewart. Batting third, right fielder, number 15, Alex Rios. Batting fourth, center fielder, number 10, Vernon Wells. Batting fifth, the designated hitter, number 35, Frank Thomas. Batting sixth, first baseman, number 17, Lyle Overbay. Batting seventh, second baseman, number 2, Aaron Hill. Batting eighth, third baseman, number 19, Marco Scutaro. And batting ninth, in the bullpen, the catcher, number 9, Greg Zahn. And warming up, the pitcher, number 32, Roy Halladay. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the first baseline and welcome the 26th-time world champion and 39-time American League champions, the New York Yankees. The head trainer, Gene Monahan. Assistant trainer, Steve Donahue. Equipment managers, Rob Kazuza and Lou Kazuza. Strengthening and conditioning coordinator, Dana Cavalier. Massage therapist, Scott Yellen. Yankee coaches, third base coach, number 50, Bobby Meacham. In the bullpen, the pitching coach, number 52, Dave Ireland. Hitting coach, number 54, Kevin Long. First base coach, number 56, Tony Pena. In the bullpen coach, number 57, Mike Harkey. And the bench coach, number 59, Rob Thompson. The Yankees non-starters, number 11, Morgan Enberg. Number 14, Wilson Bettermeat. Number 17, Shelley Duncan. Number 21, LaTroy Hawkins. Number 26, Jose Molina. Number 31, Ian Kennedy. Number 33, Brian Bruni. Number 34, Phil Hughes. Number 35, Mike Lucina. Number 39, Ross Ollendorf. Number 42, Mariano Rivera. Number 46, Andy Pettit. 48, Kyle Farnsworth. Number 61, Billy Traber. Number 62, Jabba Chamberlain. Number 63, Jonathan Alvaladeo. And now, the Yankees starting lineup. First, the manager, number 27, Joe Girardi. Leading off, the left fielder, number 18, Johnny Damon. Batting second, shortstop, number 2, Derek Jeter. Batting third, right fielder, number 53, Bobby Abreu. Batting fourth, third baseman, number 13, Alex Rodriguez. Batting fifth, first baseman, number 25, Jason Giambi. Batting sixth, second baseman, number 24, Robinson Cano. Batting seventh in the bullpen, the catcher, number 20, Jorge Posada. Batting eighth, the designated hitter, number 55, Hideki Matsui. Batting ninth, the center fielder, number 28, Melky Cabrera. And warming up in the bullpen, the pitcher, number 40, Chen-Ning Wang. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2008 New York Yankees. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention now to center field. During the singing of our national anthem, a giant American flag will be unfurled by 40 West Point cadets. Let's give a warm Yankee Stadium welcome to these young men and women who exemplify a commitment to duty, honor, and country. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise for the presentation of colors? Please direct your attention now to the area behind second base, and let's have a warm round of applause for the United States Military Academy at West Point Cadet Color Guard. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing. First, Yankee Stadium organist Ed Alstrom will play O Canada. Then please direct your attention to the microphone behind home plate and welcome from the United States Military Academy at West Point Glee Club, soloist Patrick Henshaw. He will then sing our national anthem.
Well, the stage has been set. It is opening night on Broadway, as we mentioned. The weather is cooperating, and this place is jammed. Those that were here yesterday, they decided to come back tonight for the final opening day in the history of this Yankee Stadium. Yankees against the Blue Jays. Mariano Rivera got a huge hand, as did Jabba Chamberlain as well. And Joe Girardi announces the manager for the first time, a rousing ovation. And the captain was received like the captain, and the MVP as well. Ready for baseball? Coming up next on Yes.
If these walls could talk, their voice would begin 85 years ago. A baseball cathedral opened its doors and a game savior performed the christening. It was the first brushstroke on a blank canvas, beginning an incredible mosaic. If these walls could talk, they would speak of presidents watching history and legends being born. If these walls could talk, there would be constant chatter about October classics, World Series that became as much of the fabric as the facade that framed sport's most classic picture. If these walls could talk, a man named Babe would dominate the conversation. Since legend has it, he built the place. With mighty swings and soaring drives, legend became reality. A sport changed, and reality turned around and became legend. If these walls could talk, it wouldn't only be about baseball, but football would wake up the echoes in the Bronx. And boxing could transform the place from the home of the Bronx Bombers to that of the Brown Bomber, as the world watched, entranced by the power of politics dominating sports, with good finally triumphing over evil. If these walls could talk, they would tell you about the gracefulness of an elegant man from the West Coast who took ownership of a city and eventually a country, who turned a piece of real estate in center field into hallowed ground. They would also, in hushed tones, talk of heartbreak, when a man who was dying spoke words that would echo into eternity.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
These walls have seen the mourning of legends, as well as those legends becoming part of forever. Oh, if these walls could talk, their voice would sound like this.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Yankee Stadium.
And they would talk of the Oklahoma kid who took over New York with his gargantuan talent. Or a kid from Brooklyn who became the symbol and eventually the voice of a never say die city. Oh, the things these walls have seen, from perfection to moments frozen in time to 61 standing alone as a royal number.
Fastball hit deep to right. This could be it. Way back there. Holy cow.
If these walls could talk, they would talk of new generations of heroes who brought their magic to the most famous address in sports, to a new building that still received mail at 161st Street and River Avenue. The names and faces that performed inside these walls are a who's who of greatness, continuing the lineage of breathtaking moments, spine-chilling acts, and championships stacked up 26 stories high for history to try and knock down. And while the images morph from black and white to color, the constant remains these walls. This grand old lady on the banks of the Harlem River that has splendidly served as the perfect palette for nearly a century of drama. If these walls could talk, their voice would be growing hoarse, with only one more year to narrate. That final year starts tonight.
And it starts tonight with two Hall of Famers heading to the Yankee mound. Yogi Berra escorting Reggie Jackson, and Mr. October on a beautiful night in April will inaugurate opening day with the first pitch as flashbulbs go off here at Yankee Stadium, and we are almost ready for baseball. As tonight, the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Toronto Blue Jays from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. And opening week on Yes is brought to you in part by Firestone, a tradition of innovation. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball. Along with Paul O'Neill, I'm Michael Kay. You can feel the electricity in the place as the Yankees are starting their season along with the Blue Jays. 1 day delayed because of the rain out yesterday. But opening day is always special. You talk to players about it, there's a certain vibe. You did very well on opening day. What does it mean to a player to be on that field tonight?
I loved opening day. I mean, there's so much excitement, and the old players are glad that spring training is over. The young players are glad just to be here. It's just a fun thing to get the season going.
And it's a fun thing for Derek Jeter, who continued his stretch of opening day starts. Jason Giambi will be out at first base as the Yankees try to improve on the 26th. And the manager wears the goal on his back. They're looking for their 27th championship in the final year at Yankee Stadium. We'll look at the pitching matchups next. Talk about pitching, the stories they would tell. And what's the greatest moment for a pitcher? A no-hitter. It gets even better. A perfect game, and the Yankees have had a couple of those as well on the hallowed grounds here at 161st Street and River Avenue. And they've also had a lot of openers. Yankee Stadium opener in 1923, Red Sox-Yankees. Howard Emke against Bob Shockey in '76 after the refurbishment. It was the Yankees against the Twins, and in that game for the Twins, Dave Goltz got the start, and for the Yankees, it was Rudy May, a left-hander, who got the ball. Let's take a look at tonight's New York Lottery pitching matchup. Roy Halladay goes for the Blue Jays against Chien-Ming Wang for the New York Yankees. For Chien-Ming Wang, he's had more victories than any pitcher in the major leagues over the last 2 years, 38. And against the opening day assignment tonight, we'll have the opener with the first pitch coming up next right here on Yes. New York Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by the 306 horsepower Infinity G, designed to go beyond machine. Continental Airlines, the official airline of the Yankees. And by LoJack, the most successful theft recovery system on earth. Joe Girardi, what must be going through his mind? He had one of the great moments in Yankee World Series history with that triple in Game 6 in 1996 that started the Yankees on that streak of 4 world champions in 5 years. And now he has ascended to the top level of job that you could have on the field, and that is the manager of the New York Yankees. With the Yankees 4 seasons from 96 to 99, won 3 world titles, a batting average of .272, and he also caught David Cohn's perfect game and Dwight Gooden's no-hitter. And the New York Yankees have taken the field, and we are close to baseball here in the Bronx. The field looks great. It's in outstanding shape despite the rain for most of yesterday and early today, and a full house is on hand here in the Bronx for the beginning of the final 81 regular season games here at Yankee Stadium. Let's take a look now at the Blue Jays starting lineup that will face Chien-Ming Wang, and it is presented by Rico. David Eckstein, the shortstop, is going to lead off. Batting second and playing left field, Shannon Stewart. Alex Rios in right field will hit third. Cleaning up and playing center field, Vernon Wells. Good numbers against the New York Yankees lifetime. Frank Thomas will DH. He'll bat fifth, a 13-game opening day hitting streak for Thomas. Lyle Overbase at first base, batting sixth. Batting seventh and playing second base, Aaron Hill. Marco Scutero at third base hits eighth, and batting ninth and catching, Greg Zahn. Now pitching for the Yankees is Chien-Ming Wang. Last year, 19 wins. He's had more wins over the last 2 years than any pitcher in baseball with 38, 3.70 ERA, a hit per inning, 59 walks, 104 strikeouts. Let's take a look now at the Jeep pitcher scouting report, Paul.
Well, number one, obviously he is the Yankees' number one pitching on opening day, but this is his first opening day start, and that's always going to be a big, big excitement for a pitcher. Get back on track. Everybody wants to forget how he pitched in the postseason last year. 0-2 with a 17-plus ERA. And we'll follow. The young guys are looking for somebody to follow, and he being one of the veteran pitchers on this team, the young guys are going to take note and try to do what he does.
Chien-Ming Wang lets you put the ball in play, so it's important for the Yankees to make the plays in the field. Let's take a look at them defensively. In the outfield, you've got Johnny Damon in left, Melky Cabrera making his first start in center as an opening day center fielder. Bobby Abreu over and right in the infield. Rodriguez, Jeter, Cano, and Giambi left to right. Jeter with his 12th opening day start at shortstop, the most for any Yankee all time. Posada is behind the plate, and Chien-Ming Wang is on the mound. Hey, get the best in HD free with IOTV because everything about HD is better with IOTV, the official HD service provider of Yankees baseball. Well, the wait is over. It was supposed to be about 1:05 yesterday, but that was washed away at about 2:30 and postponed till tonight at 7:05. The actual first pitch will take place at about 7:10. David Eckstein digs in. Chien-Ming Wang is ready. Let's do it here at Yankee Stadium. The crowd roaring in anticipation. And the Yankee right-hander who turned 28 yesterday deals the first pitch. It's a strike, and we are underway in the Bronx. Joe Girardi, a former catcher with the Yankees, former broadcaster, and a former manager with the Florida Marlins. And there's a ground ball up the middle. Jeter fields, fires, got him. One away.
You know, it's so funny, Michael, when you get out there as a player, I don't care if it's your first opening day, your last, you want to get your first play under your belt. And you see right here, Derek Jeter kind of gets an in-between hop, all of a sudden makes a good play, and now the season's underway.
Jeter makes his play as well as anybody in the game. The charging from from shortstop and then going back into the outfield as well. Here's Shannon Stewart returning to the Blue Jays. And Chien-Ming Wang deals. And there's a strike. There's some concern with Wang, an extra day rest. He's a sinker baller, and also the adrenaline of opening day, whether his pitches will be up in the zone.
Couldn't really think of a better night for a good sinker ball pitcher to pitch. I mean, it's a damp field. You know, early in the year, the infield's not fast. If you get them hitting ground balls, a lot of easy plays for the infielders.
Well, you can listen to Yankees baseball in Spanish by hitting the SAP button on your television. SAP is brought to you by Toyota, a smart way to keep moving forward.
Mid-season form, and you're just ripping through this thing.
Pitch is inside, 2-1. You mentioned Wang yesterday, turned 28. Yesterday would have been historic because it would have been the first and only regular season game ever played in the month of March here at Yankee Stadium, but that was washed away tonight. It's April Fool's night. That one is grounded slowly toward third. Fair ball, it's trouble, and it is a fair ball and a base hit for Shannon Stewart.
If you're Shannon Stewart, how do you start a season off better than that? You know, you get jammed, full of swing, and you know, like we talked about, it's a slow infield. Yankee Stadium, being that there's no crown there, the ball's not going to roll foul. 1 for 1 to start your year with the ball that only goes about 60 or 80 feet.
So Stewart is at first, held there by Giambi. Here's Alex Rios, who the Yankees did not have much success retiring last year. He hit in all 18 games he faced the Yankees. In fact, his hitting streak against the Yankees is 20 straight. Last year, he missed 1 game, hit .297, finally reached what everyone was expecting with the Blue Jays. He's a super talented player. Made the All-Star team last year for the 2nd time in his career, and against the Yankees last year, .338, a hit in each game, 3 homers and 9 runs batted in.
He's one of the guys that the Blue Jays have that are in the point of his career where he's going to continue to get better. And then on the other hand, they've got a few guys that are at the point of their career where, you know, you just hope that they hang on. You know, guys like Frank Thomas and Matt Stairs, guys that have done it for a long time, but you just hope as an organization they can continue to put up those numbers.
Blue Jays right now are in the process of negotiating a long-term deal with Rios, and they had set the beginning of the season as a deadline that the deal would be off the table. But they are supposedly so close that they've extended the deadline, and it's supposedly in the 6 years, $60 million range for Alex Rios. An organization always likes to keep their own, and they developed him, and he's become a star. The 0-2. Line drive to left field. It is a base hit. Damon will play it on a couple of hops. Stopping at second is Shannon Stewart, and Alex Rios now has a 21-game hitting streak over 3 years against the Yankees.
Oh, there's nothing better to get I mean, this is a good pitch. I mean, this is a sinker board down and in, and it didn't quite get to the inside part of the plate. And Alex Rios, I mean, he's just a solid player. This is a guy that, you know, if you don't know much about him in the next few years, you're going to watch him on all-star teams and know a lot more about him. Michael, you were talking about Toronto, you know, bringing in players and trying to hold on to players. And, you know, you were here during, you know, way back when guys didn't want to come to New York. And now, you know, New York's a fun place to come to. Toronto's not the easiest place for players to play. I mean, you go through customs, you know, you're in a different surrounding up there. It's not one of the places I look at as being, you know, inviting for players to come and sign long-term contracts.
And they've had their successes, obviously, in Toronto. There was people, you know, it goes through cycles. When they were winning championships and they were dominating the American League East, people wanted to play there, and then they've fallen on some hard times. Now, part of their struggles last year, Paul, because Vernon Wells is not right, and he had a shoulder problem, had surgery, and they expect big things out of him. If he can return to his form, they could have a pretty good year.
Right, he's another player, as you know, Rios is can continually, if he's healthy, going to continue to put up big numbers. I mean, probably hasn't hit the better years in his career yet.
First and second, one out, just underway. Pitch is outside, and the count 3-0, and on deck is Frank Thomas. An infield single by Shannon Stewart, a single to left field by Alex Rios, and they're first and second with one out against Wong. The one thing that Wong has going for him since 2005 when he came on the scene, he's induced 82 double plays, and that's the most in the major leagues.
One pitch away, there's no doubt. I mean, this is again, anytime that you're a sinker ball pitcher, you got to realize even when you're behind in the counts, you can't be afraid to throw strikes. A good sinker, and all of a sudden, you know, they're turning 2 for you.
And the 3-1. Broken bat. Humpback line drive to Cano. They're going to double up Rios. Where was he going? And it's a 4-3 inning-ending double play. So he gets the double play, but not on the ground. A broken bat, humpback line drive to Robinson Cano. He made a little baby leap, hauled it in, and Rios was out at first. Blue Jays nothing, and the Yankees coming to bat. Hold on to that ticket. They used it yesterday after the rain out, holding it today. And let's take a look at the game time weather conditions presented by Bigelow Tea. It's 63 degrees. It's beautiful, really. 78% humidity, 13 miles per hour wind. And there's a chance of late showers, but hopefully we'll avoid that, Paul.
It's one of those days where you wake up, you saw gray clouds all day, and you wonder how it could end up being this way by game time. Because as a player, you know, you kind of get in the mood of the day. I'm going to come to the ballpark. I'm not going to hit on the field. And all of a sudden, go out for opening day, and it's beautiful.
Roy Halladay on the mound. Let's take a look at the Yankees starting lineup presented by Rico. Johnny Damon's going to lead off. He'll play left. Batting second and playing shortstop, the captain, Derek Jeter. Bobby Abreu's in right field hitting third. Cleaning up, last year's MVP, Alex Rodriguez. Jason Giambi at first, Robin Cano at second. Jorge Posada will catch. Hideki Matsui DHs at bats eighth, and batting ninth and playing center field is Melky Cabrera. We'll take a close look at Halladay as we move along. And a big right-hander deals, and there's a strike to Johnny Damon. Halladay's numbers last year in 31 starts, 16 and 7, 3.71. A little more than a hit per inning. Good strikeout to walk ratio. Let's take a look at the Jeep pitcher scouting report.
Well, he's the active leader along with Roy Oswalt down in Houston. 6th straight opening day. He's been their ace, and then coming up big. I mean, he's an ex-Cy Young guy. 22 and 7 in 1993, and you know he's got to get back to that form in order for these Blue Jays to be able to compete.
They showed good form there, painting the inside corner against Damon. That ball kind of has that tail back in.
I mean, that's his strength. He's got a cutter, and I can remember the first time I faced him, he's got that cut fastball, and against a left-hander, tough pitch to hit.
Well, here is Derek Jeter. Yankee captain has a .328 lifetime average against Toronto. Another good year last year. He's had 3 consecutive years with 200 or more hits and 6 overall. And there's a strike to Jeter.
Struck out Damon so quick, I almost didn't get to make my last point here.
And your last point was about complete games,
it's a
right?
Complete game. He led all the Major League Baseball last year with 7 complete games, which this day and age is a lot.
It's almost a lost art, and a lot of managers don't even allow it to happen.
Everything to pitch count now, and I mean, I think the next guy closest to him was 3 or 4, so it wasn't like there was a bunch of guys with him.
He does well at Yankee Stadium, Halladay does. His last 8 Yankee Stadium starts, 4-0, 1.77. And in those 8 starts, although he's 4-0, Toronto is 7-1 against the Yankees, so he gives his team an opportunity to win when he's out there. Only question with him is if he stays healthy, he's going to win a lot of games. The 1-2 outside.
See, he kind of slings that ball, and he's got that cutting action, but the pitch before, he had a sinker, tried to run it back. So, I mean, he's got both angles at that outside corner and the inside corner against lefties.
Big, tall right-hander, and he deals the 2-2. Right back to the mound. 2 outs. Halladay's had a nice career. 30 years old, and he's changed the way he used to pitch as well. 22-7 in 03. These are the last 5 seasons. That's the year he won the Cy Young. Then injuries started to take effect. 8-8, 12-4, 16-5, 16-7. Quality pitcher.
He doesn't have the same amount of strikeouts that he used to, but I mean, I think he's learned to pitch better. I mean, you see that right there. I mean, he gets Jeter to ground out a ball. I mean, those are pitchers' friends there, because that gets you late in the game where you don't have to worry about striking everybody out.
As Bobby Abreu pitches inside. Halladay's one of the few pitchers. He came up, had success, actually pitched a 1-hitter in his first game ever, and then just started to struggle, and the Blue Jays broke him down completely, sent him down to A-ball, and redid his whole motion. A lot of players wouldn't do that, wouldn't be receptive to it. He did it and became a better pitcher.
He came up, they had another pitcher named Carpenter who, you know, then went to the Cardinals, and they both kind of had the same stuff. And you're right, you know, Carpenter went ahead and Halladay kind of went back, and at this point,
it was a base hit by Abreu.
I mean, he just continually found that cut fastball. He's got the knuckle curve, and he learned how to pitch. And right now, you know, he's one of the dominant forces in the American League.
Halladay said it was the best thing that ever happened to him. And here's Alex Rodriguez.
Third base.
Received a nice hand during the pregame introductions. The reigning American League MVP. He's won 3 now. 1 with Texas and 2 with the Yankees. And last year's year was a magical year. And a very difficult year for a right-hander to have here at Yankee Stadium with 54 home runs. Drove in 156 runs, and the story during the offseason, he opted out during Game 4 of the World Series. Yankees pretty much cut ties at that point, and Alex Rodriguez made a personal plea to the Steinbrenner family that he wanted to come back, negotiated the deal himself, and ended up signing a 10-year contract with the Yankees, which will take him through the age of 42. And if he plays out that whole contract, he would have been a Yankee for 14 years. Driven out to right center field. It is a base hit. It will split the outfielders, and it will go to the warning track. Here comes Bobby Abreu, rounding third, coming home. The relay is bobbled. It's an RBI double for A-Rod, and the Yankees have jumped out to a 1-0 lead. Picking up where he left off.
I mean, sometimes you just sit and marvel at how good a player is, and on opening day, you want to get your season off started. This is Alex Rodriguez at his best. It's a ball away. He doesn't try to pull it, just drives it the other way. He's strong enough right there going the other way to drive that ball to the wall, score a guy from first base.
A-Rod had an exceptional spring training, and 2 weeks in said that he was locked in. He hoped that the games could start then, but he kept it right through, and continues it here on opening day with the double to score a run to right center. Here's Johnny, or should I say Jason Giambi, and the first pitch is inside, 1-0. Giambi came into camp in great shape. His hope for this year is to stay healthy. If he can stay healthy, he can put up numbers. Last year, heel problems, shortened time, 236, and that's not the numbers that he wants to put up. He missed 9 weeks of the season. This is the final year of his contract with the Yankees, and he would like to get that elusive World Series ring. So would Joe Girardi, who's wearing the Yankee goal on his back, number 27, wants that 27th organizational world title. Girardi, the 32nd Yankee manager, 17th former Yankee player to manage the team, and the 4th former Yankee catcher to manage the team. And next to him, to his right, is the new bench coach for the Yankees, Robbie Thompson. Robbie's been with the Yankees for a long time, a behind-the-scenes type of guy and really knows the game, has run spring training for the longest time. And he's the Yankees' 6th bench coach in the last 6 years. Joe Girardi was a bench coach in that stretch.
Work out him, huh?
Not a bad move. That one seat to the left. Count 2-2. The bench coaches, Rob Thompson this year, Don Mattingly last year, Mazzilli, Girardi, Randolph, and Don Zimmer, who had that role from 2003 back to 1996. Bobby Meacham, the new third base coach, and a familiar face at first. That's Tony Pena.
Helmets in Alabama.
That one's driven to center field. Vernon Wells right there, and that will do it. But the Yankees get a run. They score a run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left. Opening night for the New York Yankees, and they lead 1-0 as we head to the second. Today's Yankee Stadium moment sponsored by Mercedes-Benz, and it involves that man, George Herman Babe Ruth. On April 18, 1923, Yankee Stadium opened its doors for the first time. A crowd of over 74,000 in attendance on that opening day, where they were treated to a Yankee 4-1 win over the Red Sox and watched Babe Ruth hit the first home run in the stadium's history. Your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers on the web at searchmercedes.com.
Were you allowed to do that back then? You hit a home run, you like tip your hat going around the bases?
You're allowed to do it now, but you probably get hit.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you can't get away with that anymore.
Well, he said before that game, I'd give a year of my life if I could hit a home run today. Well, he ended up passing away in 1948. You do the math. I guess he would have lived to 1949 if he'd not homered on that day, but I'm sure he thought it was worth it, and it was perfect because he helped build that ballpark. Frank Thomas with a single through the left side of the infield. He now has a 14-game opening day hitting streak. That's the longest of any active player in baseball. That's a great shot from over the lights in left field here at Yankee Stadium. The great Pete Stendel with a beautiful shot. And just over that left field wall, there's a new ballpark being built, and boy, it looks like it's getting ready. Frank Thomas now 14 straight season openers, and Bobby Abreu has hit safely in his last 11 season openers. Pitch to Lyle Overbay is inside 1-0.
That's weird, Michael. Some of these opening day things are coming back into my memory, and you wouldn't believe some of the games you play with yourself as a player. I mean, you'll go up there for your first at bat, you know, which is 1 out of what, 500 and 600 at bats, and think, you know, this is going to show me what kind of year I'm going to have. And you know, if you get a hit, you think you're rolling. If you don't, you think, oh, wow, it's probably the second bat. It's going to tell me how this year is going to be. So you really play a lot of games with yourself going into the season.
Tonight's closed captioning is brought to you by your New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut Lexus dealers. There's the Bronx, famous courthouse, the elevated trains. Paul, in all the years you played with the Yankees, did you ever take the train here?
I took the train to Shea Stadium during that subway thing.
Did you really?
Yeah, but I never took the train here. I was asking you now, if I took you, blindfolded you, and took you a half a mile away in the Bronx, can you get here by walking?
Of course.
No problem.
I was born here.
See,
This is my hood.
I got no chance.
Yeah,
I got 100 feet around.
If I dropped you up blindfolded in a neighborhood in Cincinnati, you'd find your way to the ballpark.
I don't know. I'm not real good with directions. I've only been in Cincy about 20 years now, you know.
They are not holding on Frank Thomas at first. He's always had problems with his legs, his feet, so he's not a threat to run. 2-2 count on Overbay. And the pitch. Broken back ground ball past the diving Alex Rodriguez, trickling into left field. Frank Thomas thinks about third, but no go as Johnny Damon comes up quickly, firing to Jeter. So Lyle Overbay has to feel good first at bat. You break the bat and you get a hit.
I mean, you see all these guys getting these cheap hits and they're just over there laughing at first base, but there's nothing better than getting off, you know, to start the year with a hit, whether you hit it hard or you hit it bad. And this ball right here, Alex Rodriguez really playing a left-hander to pull just out of his reach. lot of times as a sinker ball pitcher, you see him just snap that bat off. I mean, it's not a bad pitch. Sometimes you get beat with cheap hits.
Now, Aaron Hill, he can hit, and he can also lay down a bunt. In all likelihood, they'll have him swing away. Hit 291 last year. He's got good power as well. And he does swing away and lofts a fly ball to right field. Abreu settles underneath it. Thomas tags. He'll make it to third. The throw comes into Cano. So a loud long out by Aaron Hill for the first out of the inning.
Number 19, Marco Scudero.
Here's Marco Scudero, and he's playing third base today. This is a better Blue Jay lineup than the one you see right now because the third baseman for the Blue Jays happens to be Scott Rowland. They acquired him in a trade during the offseason, but he was taking grounders, and spring training fields are sometimes very unforgiving. He was taking grounders before a game, and he broke his finger, and he's going to be out for 6 weeks. Tore the nail off the finger as well.
Things hurt when you just hear how they happen. You're tearing your nail off getting ground balls, but he was having a tremendous spring. I mean, you're looking at so many people were talking about the Blue Jays, including the Blue Jays themselves, on how much better of a team they're going to be. And then it goes back to the same old thing. It's how healthy you can stay.
And with Scott Rowland, it shouldn't be a surprise that he's hurt. And this is not a knock on him. These are just the facts. Over the last 3 years, he's missed 176 games because of injury. He's won world championships, obviously, with the Cardinals, but he has a hard time staying healthy. He's had some back issues, shoulder issues, but he was feeling great this spring, and the Blue Jays said, hey, we've got a winner, a guy who works in the clubhouse as well. People will follow him, but you can't lead when you're on the DL.
Tough it out. Now, you haven't missed a game in years.
Well, now I'll be sick tomorrow. You watch. You'll be doing this alone.
You'll get right through it, though. Huh?
Scudero last year, 5 of 16 times he got a runner in from third base with less than 2 outs. That one's foul back. He's always given the Yankees some problems, even when he was a backup infielder with the A's. You remember some of those home runs?
I mean, just these little pesky hitters. These are tough times to get those outs because they put the ball in play. They've got enough speed to stay out of the double play. But Wong has gotten himself in a chance here to try to put him away with the strikeout and save that run at third base.
Last April 15th on Jackie Robinson Day, Scudero hit a walk-off home run against Mariano Rivera. So that's not that easy to do. That was when he was a member of the A's. Pitches outside, count 1 and 2. Yankees up 1-0 on the RBI double in the first inning by Alex Rodriguez. For the second inning, the Blue Jays with 2 runners on. Last inning, a double play got Chien-Ming Wang out of the inning. Thomas at third, Overbays at first with 1 out. The 1-2. Slow ground ball to first. Giambi shovels to second. They get 1. Thomas will score. The game is tied at 1.
Again, we talked about it, Michael. Here's put the ball in play. This is a check swing. Got Giambi running towards second base. You really have no chance of turning double play. He opts to kind of give Jeet that flip. Gets the ball there quick enough.
I think Jeter wanted there a little quickly. A little quicker.
Every once in a while, when you're that shortstop and that guy's barreling in with his spikes up, you'd like to see a little bit more on that throw.
Jeter pretty much has a copperhead on that shovel pass. There's Greg Zahn. Now a runner on first with 2 outs. An RBI for Scudero. Ball fouled off, count 0-1. Chien-Ming Wang's bread and butter pitch is they call it the turbo sinker. He throws that sinker harder than most people do, usually around 94, 95 miles an hour. What he was trying to do this spring, though, was incorporate other things into the arsenal where if the sinker's not sinking, that he's not going to get hit hard. Last postseason against the Indians, the sinker wasn't working. He had a 19.06 ERA. There's a line drive foul. It went over the head of Giambi. Fair, but hook foul.
In my mind, if you can't learn that cutter that can keep that that left-hander honest, I mean, you have to learn how to throw that four-seam fastball on the corners. I don't care how good a sinker ball you are. I think that sometimes you've got to show a good left-handed hitter something inside that he worries about. And if you can't get control of that cutter like Mariano has over the years, you know, learn to throw that four-seam fastball or something that can get that left-hander from leaning out and try to hit him to left field.
Those are the ugly numbers last year against the Indians. And Chien-Ming Wang said it took him a long time to get over that playoff loss and the way he pitched. And Joe Girardi, the Yankee manager, said, good. I want players that it bothers them to lose like that.
I tell you, if you go into a playoff series and can walk away after losing and then it's over with by the time you get home for the offseason, there is something wrong because there's so much emotion. So much is riding on it, and you don't realize it until you get home and it sinks in a couple of days, and then it just lays on you. It lays on you all winter until you can go out and try to change it.
Girardi run a tough camp during spring training, had the guys running quite a bit, and the Yankees are relatively healthy right now. Andy Pettitte starts on the DL, but more of a clerical move. He's fine. He'll start on Saturday. The 1-2 inside, the throw to second, not in time. Stolen base for Scudero. That was a good throw by Posada, but Scudero got a good jump and got in just ahead of the tag by Jeter.
You're right, Michael. He did. He got a good jump. Georgie did everything he possibly could, and Derek tried to steal this tag and get out of there to show the umpire that he was out, but looks like he got his legs in there. Good pitch to throw on, up and in.
Bang, bang.
I mean, it's a good play by G, too, because if the umpire is kind of unsure and he sees you running off the field as if you just thought you made an out easily, sometimes you'll get that call.
Second base umpire is Bill Miller. The 2-2 to Zahn. Let's get you caught up on the entire umpire crew. You got Gary Darling behind the plate.
That was one of my favorites.
You didn't like Gary that much? Jerry Meals at first, Bill Miller at second. Paul Emmel is over at third. You and Darling didn't get along?
He threw me out one day in Pittsburgh. I wasn't even playing. I was on the bench. He just pointed the bench and threw me out.
Just on rep.
That's right. I was getting a drink of water. Next thing I know, I was in the clubhouse.
The 2-2. Chopped over the middle. Jeter from the second base side of the bag. Fires low. Scooped up by Giambi to end the inning. So Giambi with a nice pick to bail out Jeter and Chien-Ming Wang. But the Blue Jays tie the score, a 1-run, 2 hits, and 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the second. It's 1-1. For 85 years, Yankee Stadium has stood as a cathedral of baseball. But at the end of 2008, it will be closing its doors. Be a part of the celebration of the final season at Yankee Stadium with a long-time stadium tradition, Cap Night. On Friday night, April 4th, the Yankees play the Rays, and the first 18,000 fans in attendance will receive a Yankees cap courtesy of Con Edison. Yankee Stadium, the final season. Paul O'Neill and I are supposed to have a partner here tonight. It's supposed to be Bobby Mercer. And some of the scenes from Bobby's unbelievable career with the Yankees. Bobby feeling a little under the weather. We spoke with him yesterday. He feels pretty good, and he hopes to be back in a short period of time. But he wanted to send his love to everybody. And I know Bobby's watching tonight. And Bobby, everybody that I spoke to wants to send their love to you. Get well soon, buddy, and get back here. He asked about you as well, Paulie.
Bobby's a good man. I mean, it's just, there's no way around it. People love him. He's done a lot for this organization.
Last year he was in the booth, received a rousing ovation as he bravely battles an insidious disease. And Joe Girardi was up with us last year next to Bobby, and now he's in that Yankee dugout. And he said that he couldn't believe it. He was at the Yankee welcome home dinner on Sunday, and he got a phone call Saturday night, and it was Bobby. He said, I just want to wish you good luck. And that's how Bobby is. He might not be feeling well, but he's thinking about other people. So we love you, buddy, and get back soon. Saw a line drive base hit off the glove of Scudero by Robinson Cano, and here is Jorge Posada. Posada had an unbelievable year last year, and it was fortuitous for him that it was his free agent season. And he signed a 4-year deal with the Yankees. And in the past, that would never happen, that a 36-year-old catcher would do that. But You know, I asked Joe Girardi about that a lot during spring training. He said, you know, but he started catching late, so he doesn't have the same amount of wear and tear, so I don't look at him as a 36-year-old catcher. So he signs a 4-year deal to remain with the Yankees. There's a ground ball to first. This could be 2. There's 1. Back to Overbay. It's a 3-6-3 double play.
There's a ball hit right on the nose there, but, you know, every once in a while they put guys there. Turn 2 really easy.
So now if that were you're thinking about all the guys that got hits with the broken bats, and you hit one on the screws for double play.
Michael, you're starting to think like me.
Yeah.
Now, you know, because you're sitting on the bench thinking, you know, I just saw 4 guys get these bleeder broken back hits. I just hit one right on the nose, and I just made 2 outs. Not only 1, 2.
And it's that kind of thinking that killed many a water cooler.
They got me up in the booth. Huh?
Hideki Matsui with a ground ball to second, and that will do it for Roy Halladay. No runs, a hit, no errors, and because of the double play, nobody left. We go to the 3rd. It's a 1-1 game at Yankee Stadium.
The Yankees opening series rolls on as Moose gets the Game 2 call. Tomorrow, the reigning MVP looks for a repeat of last year's record-setting April when the Yankees continue their series with the Jays. Blue Jays, Yankees. Complete coverage starts tomorrow at 6.
Only on Yes.
Well, there's a game tomorrow, and we'll take a look at the starting pitchers brought to you by Verizon Fios. Make the switch to Verizon Fios, TV, internet, and phone. A.J. Burnett will go for the Blue Jays, and Mike Messina will get the start for the Yankees. Our coverage begins at 6 o'clock with the batting practice show, 6:30 with the pregame, and first pitch should be right around 7:07. David Eckstein takes a pitch low. With the rain out yesterday, people still coming into Yankee Stadium. And you can see the new stadium in the background. It really looks like the original stadium in 1923. It's phenomenal, and people are going to love it. But anyway, with the rain out yesterday, this starts a string of 20 straight days with games, and that's tough in the beginning of the year.
I was talking to Joe Girardi before the game, and out of those 21 games in a row, they're in cold water.
It'll be cold water, too.
Fish, yeah. They're in cold cities. You know, Kansas City, they got a chance to have decent weather. But then, you've got Boston and some Cleveland. Some of these cities that, I mean, this could be a tough stretch. Anytime you come into the season as a player, you look at where you're playing in April, hoping some of your games are going to be in domes or out in California. This could be a tough stretch.
David Eckstein swings and misses. He goes down on strikes.
And Chen-Ming Wong has an opportunity when you get off the plate once you get ahead in the count. Eckstein, one of those hitters that'll take a lot of pitches, comfortable hitting with 2 strikes, but Wong gets that slider down and off the plate.
You know, a couple of the players yesterday, especially Johnny Damon, who came out on the record, were chirping about why was a game on March 31st. That one's hit sharp right to Cano, knocks it down. He'll get Shannon Stewart for the second out. Why would a game against the Toronto Blue Jays on March 31st be played in New York with an open-air stadium when you've got a dome in Toronto? And the Tampa Bay Rays played their game in Baltimore, and they've got a dome in Tampa Bay. I know it's tough to schedule games. It's very difficult. But sometimes those seem like automatics.
It doesn't make much sense. But the thinking behind it, from what I understood, because I've asked these questions many times, Michael, back when I was playing in this freezing cold things, is a lot of teams don't want to be home a lot in April. Every year they think it's unfair, because then when schools are out and they can fill their stadium with kids and things like that, then they have to travel a lot. So they need to even their schedules out. It doesn't matter in Yankee Stadium. You almost sell this place out every night anyway, right?
Absolutely. This year for sure. Pitch to Rios is low. If it hadn't rained yesterday, I mean, you can't complain about this weather tonight.
Oh, it's perfect.
If the rain holds up, this is just outstanding weather. It's a beautiful night here in New York. And the count 3-0. They're being very careful with Rios, and why wouldn't they be? 21 straight games with a hit against the Yankees. He had a single in the first. On deck is Vernon Wells. There's a strike. Count 3-1. starting them off early. And the 3-1. And a walk to Rios. Hey fans, stay tuned during the 6th inning for a message from our friends at the Fox Business Network. You see kids like that in the final opening day of Yankee Stadium. You wonder how many kids from the 1923 opener are still around 85 years ago. Got to be a couple. Here's Vernon Wells. Wells, humpback, broken bat, line drive, 4-3 double play in the first. Well, that double play in the first, Paul, you know, we had to go to a break right away. You really wonder what Alex Rios was thinking. The ball was hitting right in front of him, and he's 45 feet off of first base.
Yeah, that was I mean, obviously, sometimes as a base runner, you'll get fooled because you just get a tough read on a ball. That ball was just a flat-out, you know, jam shot blooper. And sometimes, even at the professional level, I mean, you just make mistakes.
Chop left side, backhanded by Jeter. Fires to second base for a force, and that'll do it here in the third. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one man left on base. We played 2.5 here at the stadium. Blue Jays won, and the Yankees won. Stadium originally opened in 1923. Then it was closed in 74 and 75 to be refurbished, and it was opened again on April 15th, 1976. And there is a rain check from that game. It was against the Minnesota Twins. Second batter of the game, Disco Dan Ford hit a home run. He hit the first home run in this ballpark.
You were here?
I was here.
Really?
15 years old. I remember walking into this place, and it took my breath away. I couldn't believe it.
Where'd you sit?
It was a cheap seat. Yeah.
Had to spend your own money that day.
Well, I didn't have much at 15. The thing that I always remember, it was such a big deal, Paul, that the stadium had a scoreboard in center field that showed replays. So the one that has all the averages on it right now, that was the replay scoreboard. It wasn't like a TV like the one he was talking about it. Oh, that's going to be unbelievable. You could see replays. And I remember I walked into the stadium, and the scoreboard didn't work that day. It was just stuck. It said, "Welcome to the new Yankee Stadium," and it never moved. It never showed you anything else. Count 2-2. 76, gallon of gas, 59 cents. That's different. Yankee ticket, $5.50. That's different. Price of a stamp, 13 cents. Different. Top movie, Rocky's still a top movie. And there's your song, Play That Funky Music by Wild Cherry.
Cherry.
Yankees won the pennant that year and lost to the Reds in the World Series. Melky Cabrera fouls it off.
You know, it's funny because I went to the grocery store the other day, and they had, you know, the big opening day thing for the Reds in Cincinnati, and they had the big TV playing highlights of the old Big Red machine.
Right.
And that's what was on the TV last week. And it showed the Reds beating the Yankees in the World Series. And, you know, I was watching because Catfish was pitching, and you know, Willie Randolph was there, and you know, just some of the guys that you haven't seen in the uniform in a while. It was kind of neat.
Lou Joe, last opener, same fans. That's for sure. They'll be here 4 million strong again. Be 4 years in a row with 4 million or more fans. And the 3-2. Grounded sharply to first. Overbase very slick at first. And he makes the play for the first out. Did you go to any of those games, Paul?
No.
In 76? No?
I lived in Columbus, and it just, I mean, that was a big thing to be able to go to the Reds game. And you're right. I mean, Overbase made a few good plays already. But, you know, you're once through the lineup now. Now the butterflies should be gone. You know, opening day, you've got an at-bat under your belt, hopefully a couple plays out in the field. You look up, and, you know, it's 1-1, bottom of the third. Now you realize that, you know, this is a game that it's not a spring training game. You know, you're not trying to get your work in. This is a real game, and this is where it starts to sell in.
Damon struck out in the first inning looking on a pitch that started in on his hands and then came back over the inside corner. Chops that one slowly to third. Scudero. 2 outs.
You're seeing two good pitchers now. I mean, you've seen some mistakes, and you've seen some guys hit some ball hard, but when they get their pitches where they want, you see how dominant both these guys can be.
I don't know if you heard that in the background, Paul. But the guys in the scoreboard booth just played Bob Shepard, saying now batting number 2, Derek Jeter. So Bob will begin his 58th year sometime during the season. Hopefully he'll be back in a month or so. He's feeling a little bit under the weather, and Jim Hall is filling in. But Bob, everybody's asking for you and sends their best. We know that he's watching at home.
You watch the way he pitches G2. This is the second time around. That was a 4-seam fastball, and Holiday can get away with that because he throws the ball hard enough. And there's a sinker. Same fastball, same velocity, made a little bit lower, but you know, the first the 4-seamer straight, then he'll throw that sinker in on Jeet, and then he throws that cut fastball away. So that's a fastball, but it's thrown in three different things. That's more of a slider there.
How would you attack him if you were up there?
I always had to look out over the plate. That's the kind of hitter I was, but he gave me problems. That's a knuckle curve there. You see him gripping the ball, but he had a good cutter, a good cut fastball, and that's what gave me a lot of problems from a right-handed pitcher.
Jeter takes it the other way. His patented inside-out swing, dunks it inside the line, fair for a base hit. So Derek picks up his first base hit of the 2008 season, a 2-out single here in the third.
Fastball away, and you said it, Michael. I mean, sometimes it's not how you hit it, it's where you hit it. Jeet has such a good way of driving that ball the other way. You got to respect his power, and his mother and his father have seen a lot of those over the years.
Dr. Charles and Dorothy Jeter, they've been here almost every game since he came up in 1996. Here's Bobby Abreu with his single in the first, a 12-game opening day hitting streak, second longest to Frank Thomas, who now has 14 in a row. Derek Jeter now has a hit in his last 8 home openers. He missed 2003 with an injury, which he suffered against the Blue Jays in Toronto, a shoulder injury.
I see Jeet looking over at third base coach, and I meant to ask Joe Girardi how many people he's got on his own, because Joe Torre left most of the guys on their own to run the bases as far as steals and stuff. So I'm anxious to see how much control Joe Girardi's going to have with guys running.
Runner goes, throw to second is in time. Quick tag by Eckstein right on Jeter's back, a head first slide, and Jeter has a word with the second base umpire, Bill Miller. You make the call. The hands moving toward the bag. Looks like he got him. A good throw by Greg Zahn. No runs a hit and nobody left. We played 3 at the stadium. It's 1-1. Frank Thomas leads off the 4th inning against Chin-Ming Wang. It's a 1-1 game here at the stadium. Swings at the first pitch and grounds it to short. Jeter, 1 away. Now it's time for the New York State Smokers Quit Line Quiz. Babe Ruth hit the first home run in the original Yankee Stadium. Who hit the last home run in the original Yankee Stadium? I know this one, Paul.
Do you?
Yeah.
What year was it?
1973. That's the home run by Ruth, and there's the you never
Tip
did
of the
that.
cat.
You never
Yeah.
did that. 74,200. That was the reported crowd. People were sitting in the aisles.
At the Polo Grounds, what did it hold?
The Polo Grounds held a lot of people. I think it was 80,000. And the Yankees were forced to move from the Polo Grounds because John McGraw, who owned the Giants, started to get jealous because the Yankees won 2 American League championships in 21 and 22. And he said, you know, you got to get out. So they built Yankee Stadium right across the river so John McGraw could see how great a stadium this was.
If I'm ever on like a game show and I
Right.
can call a friend, I'm calling you.
Well, it's
How
got to
you
be
know
about
all this
it's got to be
stuff?
about sports, Paul.
Huh?
Don't ask me about doctor stuff.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff. I guarantee I will not ask you about music because you haven't got one right yet.
Overbay fouls on off the count 1 and 2. I would pay money to see you on a game show.
Really?
Yeah.
A little hot under the collar?
Oh, yeah.
I hope it's not a spelling bee.
Along with Paul O'Neill, I'm Michael Kane. You're watching Yankees baseball right here on the Yankee Entertainment and Sports Network. We thank you for joining us on this Tuesday evening. A beautiful night in the Bronx. Rescheduled opening day turning into opening night.
I see a lot of guys swinging early in the count now. And as a hitter, when you go up there, you know a pitcher you don't want to get with 2 strikes. Holiday being one of them, Wong. I mean, these guys there's no reason to go up and try to work these guys' accounts because you can't afford to get behind because they've got too good of stuff. You'll see a lot of these hitters going up there swinging, not taking a lot of pitches, trying to set up for hitters' counts.
Now, does the pitcher make an adjustment then and start to get nasty early in the count when he sees that happening?
No, I mean, there's nothing better for Wong to have guys hitting, you know, ground ball outs on the first or second pitch. I mean, you just continue to throw those good strikes, knowing that these hitters are going to be aggressive.
The 1-2. High fly ball, right field and deep. Going back, Bobby Abreu and Melky Cabrera. Cabrera makes the play, taking an extra base hit away from Lyle Overbay. That ball really carried out there.
I mean, again, Melky Cabrera, a lot of things changed last year when Melky Cabrera went to center field. He's starting to be, I mean, he knows the field now. He's been out there. This is his first opening day, but he's been out there a lot of games. Good center fielder. A lot of good things have happened with Yankees defense since Melky Cabrera went to center field.
Paul, those walls are padded, but when you bang into it like that, does it hurt?
You know, it doesn't hurt that much. But then the next day, all of a sudden, you're sore in places, and you're trying to figure out why, and then you remember that, you know, you hit the wall the night before.
Hill fouls it away. Now you want to see great plays by Melky. This is the ultimate Melky Cabrera catch. Manny Ramirez, Melky playing left, and he makes an unbelievable play, and Johnny Damon having fun watching. And the Red Sox could not believe it. You don't get many curtain calls for defense, but Melky did. So that one earlier was not to that level, but that's a high bar he set. The 0-1. Line in the left center field. On the run is Cabrera. He makes the play. A highlight reel here in the 4th inning from Melky Cabrera, taking away 2 extra base hits. Melky robs Lyle Overbay. Then does the same thing to Aaron Hill, showing some leather and grace here on the final opening day at Yankee Stadium. Flash in the leather, Melky Cabrera. Highlight reel from Melky Cabrera in the top of the 4th inning. Fans chanting Melky, Melky as he came off the field. Here's Bobby Abreu against Halladay. Pitches outside. How tough are these plays, Paul?
Well, this ball looked like it carried. I mean, he kind of drifted back on it. But the second ball over in left center field, I didn't think he really had a chance at. And a lot of it has to do with his positioning. He had moved, got a great jump on the ball.
Bobby Abreu lines a single through the right side. He's 2 for 2. Let's take a look at the second one, Paul.
Again, this ball, I mean, there wasn't much air under this ball. This was a line drive driven into the gap. Melky got a great jump on it. And as a center fielder, believe me, you know that gap. If it gets by you, it's going all the way to the wall. Great play. You know, it's so funny. Offensively, when you're hitting, you have confidence. You believe you're going to get a hit every time up. And defensively, it happens the same way. You start making a couple good plays out there, and all of a sudden you're anxious for somebody to just hit another challenging ball that you can go get.
Here's Alex Rodriguez, doubled in a run in the first, and the pitch is outside. 1-0. Paul, how would you pitch A-Rod?
Well, I think that you have to show him inside. I mean, if you allow him to get out over the plate, I mean, he's better than anybody in baseball. But how many people are good enough to throw that ball, you know, in a strike, he's a little area inside? I mean, it's hard to do, and he's got so much power that if you miss, he's going to make you pay.
This time, Halladay makes him pay with a 6-4-3 double play. Let's take a look at the answer to the trivia quiz from the New York State Smokers Quit line. Babe Ruth hit the first home run in the original Yankee Stadium. Who hit the last home run? It was the Tigers were the opponent. Let's see. Well, Duke Sims. September 30th of 1973. And the Yankees in 74 and 75 played their home games at Shea Stadium.
Right.
Right back to Halladay. He's had a couple quick innings in this game, so right there Halladay works a 1-2-3 despite giving up the single to Abreu. We played 4 here in the Bronx. Yankees won and the Blue Jays won on Yes.
Yankee
Stadium, the cathedral of baseball, is celebrating its final season in 2008, and you'll want to be a part of this historic season. Come out to the stadium when the Yankees play the Rays on Saturday, April 5th, and Sunday, April 6th for calendar weekend. All fans in attendance at either game will receive a Yankee Stadium calendar courtesy of Subway. Yankee Stadium, the final season.
I'm Ron Bob Lorenz in our Yes Studio with the Nissan update. Let's take you down to South Florida. Mets, Marlins, Pedro Martinez in his first start, and Dan Uggla puts a dent in it. 2-run shot, the first of 2 homers that Pedro's given up so far. Marlins now lead the Mets 4-0, bottom half of the third. Michael?
Well, thank you, Bob. Here on the Corona Extra scoreboard, we go to the 5th inning. It's a 1-1 game, 1-4-0 for the Jays, 1-5-0 for the Yankees at the beginning of the final season here at Yankee Stadium. And the first pitch to Marco Scutaro is low. Scutaro has driven in the only run in front of a jam-packed stadium crowd of over 55,000. Scutaro with a fielder's choice groundout scored Frank Thomas from third, and we stand at 1-1. Count 2-0.
And both pitchers, a little inconsistent with their control, but both pitchers able to get double plays when they need them, have a couple quick innings.
There's a strike. Scutaro makes you work. The count 3-1. .55 pitches for Wong, 35 strikes.
Chances are on opening day that 100 pitches is probably your limit for any starter. So both these guys still under the count where they can get deep in the game.
And Scutaro works a walk. This Sunday, don't miss the premiere of the Joe Girardi Show right here on Yes. Go inside the mind of the manager with our weekly Yankees review and preview show featuring exclusive analytical insights from the man at the helm. It's the premiere of the Joe Girardi Show this Sunday after the Yankees postgame, and it's only on Yes.
A lot of things going on in that mind, too. All the time, right?
Amazing. Varied things. How about yesterday? It was his first opening day as Yankee manager.
What is that?
And Paul O'Neill walks into his office, and he said, "Here, Paul, I know you need a pen." Just he knew that last year you didn't have a pen, so he gave you a pen. That was on his mind.
Tried to give me a notebook too, but I didn't feel like carrying it up here.
Runner goes. Pitch is swung on and missed. Throw to second is off the glove of Jeter and trickles into center, but Scutaro will stay right there. That's Scutaro's second stolen base of the night.
It's just a tough pitch to handle there. There's more likely a hit and run. Zahn tries to protect him, but the ball's, it's nothing that Georgia can handle. Can't get off a good throw. Sinker down off the plate. Georgie kind of bobbled the ball coming out. Got it out of his glove so quick he almost bobbled the grip on it. So long darted it to second.
So now the go-ahead run is at second base here in the 5th inning. Count 1-1. Zahn wants to do one thing. Obviously he'd like to drive in the run, but he wants to pull the ball. You pull the ball, and then you've got the runner at third base with 1 out. So Scutaro has 2 steals tonight. He had 2 steals all of last year. And the Blue Jays are not known as a running club. So being a little frisky tonight here in the Bronx. The 1-1. Line drive to right field. It is a base hit. Scutaro holds up. He'll stop right there at third as Abreu fires into Giambi. Well, the Blue Jays are set up now. Runners on the corners and nobody out.
Zahn does a good job there. I mean, this is a tough thing for a left-handed hitter to do with a guy it's going to sink the ball away. You get out there and actually hook the ball, and he was able to elevate that ball over the second baseman's head. Again, that's where sometimes I think that Wong is going to have to learn how to get in on left-handed hitters, because I mean, you saw him leaning out over the plate which gives you the ability to hook that ball. And sometimes you're better off jamming a left-handed hitter when they're trying to pull it.
Here's a pesky hitter, David Eckstein. I keep saying Steen. David Eckstein. He's 0 for 2. First game as a Blue Jay. Eckstein won a championship. He's won 2 titles now, one with the Angels and one with the Cardinals. He wanted a 3-year deal with the Cardinals. They didn't want to do it. And he was looking for a 3-year deal from the Mets to play second base. Kept holding out for a 3-year deal, and it just wasn't there, and the market was drying up. And the Blue Jays saw a chance to grab a guy who has a championship pedigree, and they signed Eckstein to a 1-year deal. Signed him for $4.5 million, and with that signing, what they did was they moved John McDonald, who last year they anointed as the guy that was going to be their shortstop. They moved him to be a super utility guy, and John McDonald can really play defense. They've had a lot of trouble finding shortstops, the Blue Jays. You saw that graphic, 17 different ones of late.
Tony Fernandez is probably thinking back the
He's
last
the last
one.
steady one, yeah. Dub slowly to first. Giambi holds the runner at third and then tags out Eckstein for the first out. So now the runners move up to second and third, and Shannon Stewart's at the plate.
Eckstein trying to make something happen there. He get jammed so bad that Giambi is able to field the ball and keep his eye on the guy on third, hold him at third, get an out. But still, only with 1 out, move the runner over. Now you got a situation here where you got to figure out whether you're going to try to get a strikeout with Stewart, or if you're going to pitch around him and try to get Rios in it, and that becomes dangerous. I mean, you can't. Every once in a while, you're better off just trying to get an out for a run here instead of trying to stay out of giving up any runs.
And the pitch to Stewart is inside. Stewart would seem to be in a really nice spot in the lineup. You don't want to pitch to Rios, you don't want to pitch to Wells, and you don't want to pitch to Frank Thomas, so you're going to take your chances with Stewart.
He's a guy that, I mean, looking back at him, he really didn't have a certain approach to hitting. He goes up, looks for the ball, and he hits. He's a good hitter, good solid hitter. Hits the ball hard time and time again, but he never really looks like he has an approach of looking for one pitch. He just is kind of hacking at anything he sees up there.
Against the Yankees, he does some hacking. 94 games, 309, 7 home runs, and 41 runs batted in. And the 1-1. That's a weak hack right there on a nice pitch.
Again, I mean, you talk about an approach as a hitter, and right here you saw him foul off a pitch high. Now you see a ball out of the zone low. So to me, that means that he's trying to, he's trying to hit in a zone all the way from his eyes to his toes, and that's hard to do as a hitter.
Opposing hitters hit .308 last year with runners in scoring position against Wong. Obviously a number he'd like to bring down this year. Count 2-2. The dangerous Alex Rios on deck. The 2-2. Count is full of 3-2. He's now thrown 67 pitches, and this is a big one upcoming on a 3-2, and Alex Rios on deck.
It's always funny that I remember Jim Cott over and over again saying, there's only 2 or 3 times in a game where a pitcher is going to make a pitch that makes or breaks that game. And in these next few pitches, with Stewart and Rios on deck with 2 men on, this is definitely one of those situations where you're going to keep your team in it, or you're going to give Holiday a lead to try to play with.
3-2. Dribble slowly toward third. That's going to score a run across the diamond. They get Stewart. And the Blue Jays now lead 2-1. So the ground ball scores Scutaro, and Greg Zahn stays put at second.
Sinker in, Stewart pulls it. Alex, ball's hit so weakly that Alex doesn't have any play at the plate. Good play for getting it out across the field, but again, you've got 2 outs with a man on second base. These are the runs Wong needs to try to save. You know, you got Holiday on the mound that you know he's not going to give up a lot of runs. A lot of wheels turning in the dugout on both sides, trying to get a lead, trying to stay in the game.
The Blue Jays have a couple of hard throwers in their bullpen. We'll give you their bullpen breakdown as we move along. So it's not any picnic to get into their bullpen this year. And B.J. Ryan's still not back. He's remained in Florida as he comes back from Tommy John surgery. Roy Halladay, as Paul mentioned during his scouting report, he's used to throwing complete games, but usually not on opening night.
See Wong this inning especially has gotten some pitches up, and that's usually the first indication that you're struggling just a little bit. You're not getting the ball down. More balls than normal getting hit out of the infield instead of on the ground.
Rios has walked and singled. Inside 2-1. .43 pitches for strikes out of 71 total.
Ooh, there's a pitch he got away with. You've seen 3 or 4 consecutive pitches. A pitch before being a slider that he missed up in the zone. Those are fastballs up in the zone. And if you're a sinker ball pitcher, you can't continually lose up there, because as soon as you get the ball up in the zone, you lose the sink. And that's what makes you successful.
You have the battle being down that you missed the pitch if you're a hitter now?
What's that?
After he missed that pitch, does he have the battle being defeated?
I mean, you go back in your mind and you know you're not going to get that pitch again in that at bat. You just have to try to stay with your approach. But there's Wong's strength right there.
To a nasty turbo sinker, and Alex Rios swings over the top. But the Blue Jays do take the lead. 1 run, 1 hit. No errors, and 1 man left on base. At the end of 4 1/2, we are halfway through here at the stadium. Toronto 2 and New York 1. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. The Blue Jays now have a 2-1 lead over the Yankees on opening night, and the pitch to Robinson Cano is a strike. Now Robinson Cano on the Corona Extra scoreboard picked up one of the Yankees' 5 hits. 1 5-0. Trailing 2 5-0. Cano lined a single off the glove of Scutaro at third. That was in the second. Cano had an unbelievable spring, hitting over 400. And you see, Paul, he's slowly moving up. He's the number 6 hitter in the lineup. Matsui's number 8. And this guy really does translate into a number 3 hitter.
Oh, there's no doubt. There's going to be a passing of the baton here soon where he's going to be hitting third. I mean, he's pound for pound probably the best hitter in this lineup other than Alex Rodriguez. I mean, he can do a lot of things with the bat.
High fly ball to right field. Rios is right there. And there is 1 away. The All-Star game will be at Yankee Stadium this year.
You know, it's funny because every year you come in as a player and, you know, you've gone from the offseason and you take the field and you kind of look around and try to notice what signs are different. Every once in a while there's a different logo or something. And that's the first thing that caught my eye when I walked in this year was the All-Star game patch up there in left center field.
Here's Jorge Posada, banged into a double play in the 2nd inning. Great year for Posada, 338. 20 home runs and 90 runs batted in. Yankees have a couple of patches on their uniform this year. They have the commemorative patch for the stadium, 1923 to 2008. That's on the left sleeve, and on the right sleeve is the All-Star game patch.
You watch Holiday, what he's doing now. Now he's starting to mix all of his pitches in. He's got the sinker going away. He's got the cutter to neutralize left-handed hitters, and that last pitch is a good knuckle curve. So as a hitter right now, Holiday's kind of hit his stride. He's got 3 pitches that he's using at any time.
And he also has a very low pitch count. He's at 47 pitches right now. He's had a couple quick innings. One inning was just a 4-pitch inning. And the 0-2. Was that nasty pitch that got Damon in the first inning, but it didn't catch the inside corner. 4 pitches in the second, 5 in the fourth, and 6 here in the 5th inning with 1 out. Again, he tried to have that same pitch. That's the pitch that Greg Maddux made famous.
Right, that's the sinker, the 2-seamer. They're trying to run it back over there because after as a left-handed hitter, you think about that cutter, and it usually starts on the inner half and cuts in off the plate. Then he'll throw that ball at your hip, and you give up on it, and then it runs back the other way.
Is there any spin that you could pick up, Paul? Because if you think it's a cutter, you're going to take it. If you know it's that pitch that tails back over, you're going to have to offer at it. Can you tell from spin?
As a hitter, you pick up the 2-seamer a lot better you do the cutter. I think that's why the cutter is so hard to hit. You don't pick up the spin of it. It looks like a fastball, and it continues to bore in on you. But the 2-seamer, you seem to follow, and I don't know if it's just because you're used to seeing more of them or whatever, but the 2-seam definitely does have a spin that you can pick up.
2-2. Still 2-2. And Halladay deals. Swing and a miss. Pitch diving down and in. Posada swings over the top, 2 away.
2 hard fastballs in, kind of sets up this knuckle curve. And, you know, again, you're looking, you're trying to protect from 3 pitches instead of 1 or 2. And that's why he can be so tough. You know, it's funny. You've got an opening day crowd here just dying to get in. And it's amazing how a good pitcher can even take the crowd out of the game. I mean, just can't get anything going, can't get any consistency at the plate.
Pitch is inside. Along with Paul O'Neill, I'm Michael Kay. You're watching Yankees baseball right here on the YES Network. The final opening day here at Yankee Stadium, bottom of the 5th inning. The Blue Jays leading the Yankees 2-1. Matsui grounded to second. That was in the second. Last year, another 100 RBI season for Matsui. Now, lifetime against Halladay, Paul, 3 for 12. With 3 walks, he had a 400 on base percentage. So I guess you saw the ball okay. You just didn't square it up that much against him.
You know, he was one of the guys that you see the first time you face him. You're like, wow, this guy's going to be good, because you saw his velocity, you saw his movement.
Up the middle. And Eckstein makes the play. They had him play beautifully right up the middle as Halladay works a 1-2-3 inning. The last 4 innings, he's faced the minimum amount of batters. We go to the 6th, 2-1 Jays. Saturday morning, as they continue to build toward next year's opening day, this eagle sculpture, which was part of the original Yankee Stadium and they've had redone to meticulous detail, they inserted that into the main entrance hall in front of Yankee Stadium, and the place just looks great, and it really does look like the old Yankee Stadium. We go to the 6th inning. A strike to Vernon Wells. The Jays lead 2-1. Wells is 0 for 2 today. Some concern coming into this game with the rain out yesterday. Chien-Ming Wang, sinker ball pitcher, extra day of rest, adrenaline of an opening day start. Doesn't look like it's affected him.
No, I don't think so. I think he missed up last inning, obviously, but I don't think that has anything to do with an extra day's rest. I think that, you know, he's just starting to miss up a little bit. He's not driving the ball down in the zone. You know, he's made his pitches. Again, you see that ball. It's got some movement, but it's up in the zone.
Alex Rodriguez showing off a strong arm for the first out. .38 wins for Chien-Ming Wang, 19 apiece the last 2 years, and that leads all of Major League Baseball. The Red Sox, Josh Beckett at 36, and the Tigers, Justin Verlander at 35. Here's Frank Thomas. And there's a strike.
See what Frank Thomas did last year. You know, that's a good year, and if he can continue to have good years, I mean, obviously, if you're a Blue Jays fan, you hope for a great year. And if you look at the back of his baseball card, he's had some great years in the past. So you just hope that he hangs on and he's offensively contributes to this team, because you need somebody behind Rios and Wells, so those guys have to be pitched to.
513 home runs for Frank Thomas. If you can give them 30 this year, they'd take that, sign up for it. But the key with Thomas is to stay healthy.
You watch him just almost grimacing as he walks off the field. He's got bad feet. You know, you change every year. You look at his spikes and things. He's had some foot problems and some injuries, but he's always been able to hit. He's one of those guys in his prime. You know, he was feared.
Two-time MVP with the White Sox. Pitches outside. Spent 1 year with Oakland, then signed a 2-year deal here with the Blue Jays. Overbay, 1 for 2, robbed of an extra base hit. Nice play against the wall in right center by Melky Cabrera. That was in the 4th. Count 2-0. And the 2-0. Another broken bat and a ground ball to Robinson Cano. 3 ground balls, 3 outs in a row. And we've played 5.5 innings at Yankee Stadium, 2-1 Jays. And now here's a word from our friends at the Fox Business Network. Yankee Stadium has seen many great moments, and power has always been a big part of it, starting with Babe Ruth. Hit the first home run here in 1923. And then obviously Mickey Mantle took part in this as well. Mantle and Ruth, 2 of the greatest power hitters of all time, combined for 1,250 home runs. Not too shabby.
It's a lot of homers.
It's a lot of homers. Bottom of the 6th, 2-1 Jays. Melky Cabrera leads off against Roy Halladay. And there's a strike on the outside corner.
The old Tony Fernandez run out of the box and possibly swing at it there.
A lot of people don't remember this, Paul. You remember it because you were a teammate. Tony Fernandez was the shortstop before Derek Jeter.
Oh, yeah.
And he did a pretty good job for the Yankees.
Really good job. I mean, defensively, he was something. He made a lot of good plays out there. Good hitter. And he went over to third base for a while. Second, he kind of moved around.
He was actually going to be the second baseman in '96. And then he got hurt in spring training. And then went to Mariano Duncan. We play today, we win today.
Yeah, we get a lot of hits today. That's what he said. He had a great year offensively that year. You know, every time we start talking, Michael, we look up and Holladay's got somebody with a 2-strike count. I mean, he's thrown his pitches for strikes. A lot of pressure. You can tell when either the hitters are putting pressure on the pitcher or the pitcher's putting pressure on the hitter. And right now, Holladay's putting the pressure on the hitters by getting ahead in the count.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the aforementioned New York Yankees. Way out in front of that one, pops it up and back onto the screen.
Mike, we're in the bottom of the 6th inning. We haven't mentioned one of your shows yet. What's going on here? Did they lose all the memos?
Too quick. It's all about baseball today, Paul. We mentioned the Joe Girardi show.
Oh, I forgot you host that one too.
No, Joe hosted. I'm just helping out. The 2-2 missed inside. Is he ever going to have you as a guest on the Joe Girardi show?
No.
He should. A view through the famous facade. You know, in the new ballpark, which replicates the old ballpark. The facade is actually going to be around the rim of the actual horseshoe part of the stadium where the lights are now, just like it was in the old Yankee Stadium, rather than the outfield. That's Pete Stendhal, our cameraman, who's being very daring tonight. A long at-bat against Halladay. This will be the 9th pitch of the at-bat. And he grounds that one foul. Well, you watch Overbay, and he's about as smooth as you could be.
I was
going to
say, even fielding the foul balls, he looks good. I mean, he forgot I was looking through the stats. I mean, he hit 53 doubles a few years ago. I mean, this guy, he can play.
Great glove, good range, and not afraid to make the throw to second base. Just a real solid first baseman. High fly ball, right field, deep, going back Rios, on the track, at the wall, he leaps, see ya! A game-tying home run for Melky Cabrera. It's 2-2 in the Bronx.
Great at bat by Melky Cabrera. Didn't get it on. And what I was laughing about is I saw Holladay's reaction, and he was screaming at this ballpark. And I mean, as a left-handed hitter, once in a while you get one right down the line. Melky handles a tough pitch here. Didn't quite get it in as much as he wanted to. Those are the eyes of hoping that ball goes out right there.
And a curtain call from Melky Cabrera as Johnny Damon takes a strike. Pitch is low. Halladay's trying to wish it in.
A couple of seconds after that, he was cursing the ballpark. And you know, as a pitcher, you try to pitch where you're from, and obviously you don't want left-handed hitters hitting it right down the line, but as many as you give up down the line, you gain in the gaps here, and that's why you have to pitch to the ballpark.
3:14 down the line, and it's no coincidence that they call this the house that Ruth built, because the great left-handed power hitter Ruth, they made right field short for him, and that was just over the leaping try of Alex Rios. And when the ballpark opened in 23, Paul, you'd like this, down the line, 296.
I think you open your eyes. What is it? I mean, what's Fenway Park, though? The pesky pole's got to be like 250. I mean, it's down the line. It's real short.
I know down the left field line it's 310, they say, but a lot of people think that's shorter. But the pesky pole does run straight out.
Last ball went about 315, didn't it?
314 and a half. Grounded to Overbay, and he will beat Damon to the bag, and there's one out.
You can see the frustration on Holladay's face, and it's because you're in a good game, and it's a 2-1 game, and you're trying to pitch your team to get them late in the game, and all of a sudden you got a tie game, and you know that your pitches are probably limited on opening day. So it's a frustrating place to be when you're the ace pitcher. That's a decision that Gibbons obviously is going to have to make. How long do you go with the guy? I mean, you want to win every game, but it's opening day. You've got 30-some starts ahead for your best pitcher, and you try to do what's right for these guys. But I mean, he doesn't look like he's laboring at all. I mean, his pitch count has been down.
Archway of the Cathedral of Baseball through the facade, the flag.
That's a picture.
That is a great picture. Right back to a great pitcher, and there's two away. Now John Gibbons has himself a 7-man bullpen, 2 lefties and 5 righties.
Is that counting Ryan, or is he on the DL?
B.J. Ryan is on the DL. Their lefties are Downs and Talent.
Right.
Abreu has gotten off to a nice start. He is 2 for 2, and the pitch is a strike.
You're a first-year manager and you're Joe Girardi, and you come into opening day, and you could tell by when he ran out to the line, it just kind of pumped up, a little nervous. And now you come down to a game right now where you're in the 7th inning, going into the 7th inning, and you got to try to figure out how to win a close game. I mean, this is a neat night, and this is a lot of things going on right now. How he can try to get his first win.
There's the 8th and 9th inning right there. Jabba Chamberlain on the left, Mariano Rivera on the right. And Abreu grounds one to second. Aaron Hill makes the play. But Melky Cabrera has been a big part of this 2-2 tie. He's made 2 unbelievable catches, robbing the Blue Jays of 2 extra base hits in this inning. Squeezes one just over the wall down the right field line to tie the game at 2. We go to the 7th. We go to the 7th inning. It is a 2-2 tie. It's not in that ballpark. We're over here across the street. And Chien-Ming Wang's still in there, and he deals a strike to Aaron Hill. 82 total pitches for Wang as we go to the 7th.
You've got that new ballpark. I mean, it's exciting to see. There's no doubt about it. But can you even expect or even hope to have the history that was in this ballpark?
Well, Derek Jeter said yesterday, he said it's right across the street. That's not too far for the ghost to travel.
Sure. There you go.
Well, we'll have to, I guess we'll sit down here in 85 years and reevaluate.
Yeah.
If it has the same history.
You'll still be sitting here?
I hope.
Yeah.
I hope I'm sitting right next to you. Aaron Hill lines one into left center. Melky again can't make the play this time. It gets by him and goes to the wall. Aaron Hill's going to second. He's rounding and stopping right there as Damon gets the ball in. Almost a carbon copy of the ball in the 4th inning, but this one just a little bit lower, and Melky couldn't come up with it.
Look, again, he got a great jump on the ball. Looks like he almost got past the ball. Reach back again. It's a tough play. You're on a full-out run, and all of a sudden you realize you're not going to get it. There's no way to block it. Yankees lucky that it ended up being a double instead of a triple. Aaron Hill got a bad read on Damon's throw, and you could see his reaction at the end, knowing he could have probably coasted into third base.
47 doubles last year or so. That's his specialty. Yankees are in at the corners expecting the bunt from Scudero. Scudero, a fielder's choice RBI and a walk. And he lines one to Giambi, one away. Quick reaction by Jason Giambi for the first out.
Well, Scudero can't do anything more than other than hit the ball hard the other way, and Giambi coming in expecting the bunt. You said it, Michael. That's just a reaction play. It's a great play.
This is real speed, and that's real quick. Giambi wants to play first base, says he's a better hitter when he's out there defensively, and the Yankees are hoping to squeeze 4 to 5 games a week out of him at first base.
That's the one thing I've noticed up here in the booth, and especially watching it on TV, is how slow everything looks on TV and how quick it really happens out on the field, how fast that ball moves.
There's a split with Giambi playing in the field, 309 hitter, as a DH, a 246 hitter. Now that's a little bit skewed because sometimes he's been DHing because he's just not healthy enough to play, and that would make him less of a hitter. But the numbers don't lie there. He is a much better average hitter. And the count 2-0 to Zong. There's a strike. Odd feeling for you, Paul. I know you're so close to Joe Girardi. You guys are really good friends. But you really used to Joe Torre in there, seeing your buddy being the Yankee manager.
Yeah, it is. And I'm excited for Joe because I know that he's worked for this. I know that he wants to be here. And, you know, I talked to Joe Torre the other day. He left a message on the phone, and he seems happy. I mean, he seems at peace where he is. And that makes it a lot easier. I think that, you know, if you knew Joe Torre was gone and had a baseball and wanted to be here with the Yankees, I just think both guys are happy where they are right now. I think Joe Torre stood back, realized what was accomplished while he was here, and now he's going on. And I think that, you know, Joe Girardi, I mean, what a gift to come out and have the team he has to work with and be able to manage the New York Yankees.
Grounded, left side, Jeter. As Hill moves the third, 2 away. And now Joe Girardi jogs out to the mound. In the spring, most of the time he had Dave Island go to the mound. This doesn't look like it's a pitching change walk, but we'll see. Out there quickly.
See how he feels. He's going to go over, you know, what he's going to do probably. See the manager a lot of times. You saw Joe Girardi stare right into the eyes of the pitcher and see exactly if they're telling you the truth. You feel, well, if there's any hesitation, well, you know, get a good feeling as a manager, you hustle right back into the bench.
91 pitches for Chien-Ming Wang. Here's David Eckstein, a very pesky hitter. The go-ahead runs at third base. We're in the top of the 7th inning. It's a 2-2 game. Grounded to A-Rod. So Girardi, with his first decision, makes the correct one as Chien-Ming Wang gets Eckstein to ground out to Alex Rodriguez. In the 7th, no runs, a hit, no errors, and because of this play by A-Rod, 1 man left on base at the end of 6.5. It's time for the 7th inning stretch, and the Blue Jays and the Yankees are tied at 2, but we'll stay right here at Yankee Stadium on the final opening day in this grand ballpark and listen to the PA announcer, Jim Hall, as he gets you set up for God Bless America.
As we remember the servicemen and women who are stationed around the globe, and especially remember those who lost their lives defending our freedom and our way of life.
I'm Ron Bob Lorenz in our studio with the Tri-State Ford update. Not good news right now for the Mets in their game against the Marlins, bottom of the 4th. You see Pedro Martinez on the pitch to Matt Trader. Kind of grabs his left hamstring there. The Traders would come out. They're calling it a hamstring right now. Not good for a guy who missed all but the final month of last year with injury. That game tied at 4 in the 5th. Michael?
Well, thank you, Bob. Here at the stadium, we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. It's a 2-2 game. Jam-packed crowd here at the ballpark. Opening day rained out yesterday, postponed till tonight, and it seems like everybody kept their stub and made their way back to the Bronx. And now, with a game tied, bottom of the 7th inning, crowd buzzing, you've got one of the better pitchers in baseball against arguably the greatest hitter in baseball, and Alex Rodriguez fouls off the first pitch. Alex drove in a run in the 1st inning, lacing an RBI double to right center field. In the 4th, he banged into a 6-4-3 double play. Coming off one of his best years, his 3rd MVP season, 2nd with the Yankees. And the 0-1. Line drive and another base hit for A-Rod. Didn't really square it, but he's strong enough to get it out into right field for a leadoff single.
You said it, Michael. I mean, when you're that good of a hitter, even when you don't square it off, that ball goes off the end of the bat, strong enough to drive it out in right field. Start the inning off. Holiday not real happy what's happened in the last couple innings.
He kind of wears his emotions on his sleeve.
Yeah, I mean, he's if you're a manager, I mean, you got to love that, though. I mean, that's your #1 guy out there battling, knowing that, you know, he's in a tough game, had a lead, kind of gave that up on a kind of a fluke home run in his mind, but I mean, he's battling out there for you.
Here's Jason Giambi. Shift is on, 3 infielders right side. Pitches outside. Now, Jason all spring worked about hitting the ball to the left side. Now, not necessarily grounding a ball to third base, but he was trying to drive the ball to left center. 80 pitches for Halladay, 53 strikes. He said sometimes Yankee Stadium, it seduces you into trying to pull the ball. And he actually said, Paul, he does not like to take batting practice outside of the stadium. He takes it under the stands. He said, because if you take batting practice at the stadium, you're trying to hit into the upper deck, and it takes you away from what you want to do.
It's so weird because, I mean, hitters obviously are so different. I could not stand to hit in the cage. I love to be out on the field to see, you know, where the ball was going when you hit it. And just doesn't want to get in the habit of, you know, trying to hit home runs, obviously.
Along with Paul O'Neill, I'm Michael Kay, and you're watching Yankees baseball right here on the Yes Network. Yankee bullpen getting fired up as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, tied at 2. You've got Brian Bruni and Jabba Chamberlain and Mariano Rivera beginning to stretch. The 2-1. Fouled away.
That pitch kind of sailing away. It looks like Giambi right there actually did try to come out around that ball. That's a ball right there away from Holiday that you can drive to left field. But you saw at the end that the top hand kind of come around the ball. The indication he's trying to pull it.
One of the 2 left-handers in the bullpen, Brian Talent, getting ready. No matter how much Giambi struggles, last year obviously a low batting average, always has a good eye at the plate, can identify pitches out of the zone, and his on-base percentage will always be very good because he'll take his walks. Now another decision for Joe Girardi quickly. Do you send the runner here?
You know, I probably don't. I mean, with no outs, I probably don't send him.
He goes. Pitch is low. And the Blue Jays really had a scramble because with the shift on, the third baseman Scudero was standing at second to get the throw. And Alex Rodriguez, if he thought he could have beaten Scudero, could have taken off for third. Let's take a look at how that watched.
See what Michael's talking about. You've got the shift over here. You've got absolutely nobody all the way to the base. Hard as a base runner to think of that before it happens. Because you're thinking you might have to slide if you're going to steal.
So the Yankees are set up. You could see they're going to be doing some running this year. Took a chance there, didn't want to have the double play, but Giambi worked the walk. Here is Cano. Do they bunt with Cano, who's one of their best hitters? They don't. The Blue Jays thought they might. They were in at the corners.
These are the times I think that Joe's going to look out there and see who's hitting and trust. I mean, Cano's coming out of spring training. He's your hottest hitter. I mean, he's put the bat on the ball well all night. And I just think that you have to go with your best hitters at times and hope that they can break this game open.
Posada is on deck. Cano 6 for 15 with 2 home runs lifetime against Halladay, who has 86 pitches, 56 strikes.
Kind of hard to put the bunt sign on with those lifetime numbers. Huh?
And Girardi knows those numbers. That one's chopped over the mound. Going to be a tough play. And a good play by Giambi to stay out of the double play. He stopped, would not allow himself to be tagged, and that forced the throw to first base, and then Giambi got to second.
Right, Michael. I mean, this is as a base runner, this is what you do. You have to make him throw to first and then get you on the other end. He had gone so far that they had no chance to get him. See, the Giambi's going to give Robbie Kakuza something in the locker room. That uniform will be washed for the first time this year.
Let's manage again, Paul. You've got Matsui on deck. Yeah, well, we know the call already as Gibbons is going to intentionally walk Posada. You like this move?
I do. I think you've got a guy that, you've got your pitcher out there that knows how to get a double play. He's going to, you can trust him to make the right pitches. Although Matsui's as good as anybody at getting that guy in from third base. But, again, he's had some problems running a little bit because of his knee. So it's your best matchup, obviously, with the Blue Jays.
So the wheels are turning. Matsui obviously being challenged as they walk the batter in front of him to pitch to him and try to get the double play. He's no stranger to dramatics. His first opening day here at Yankee Stadium with the bases loaded against the Twins, he goes yard for a grand slam, and that was his introduction to the Bronx. April 8th, 2003. Time flies, and that was his first curtain call. He wouldn't mind another one right here in 2008. Alex Rodriguez is the go-ahead run at third, talking to Bobby Meacham. Jason Giambi at second, and Jorge Posada is at first. The speed decreases as you go from third to first. 5 minutes after 9, bottom of the 7th, a 2-2 game. Ground ball up the middle, knocked down, and they're going to get one, and that's all they'll get. The Yankees take a 3-2 lead. Aaron Hill could not field the ball cleanly otherwise. It's an inning-ending, threat-ending 4-6-3 double play.
And you see Holiday, I mean, he got what he wanted, a hard hit ground ball, but it's a tough play, but it came up, hit the heel of his glove. Bad exchange, had no chance. Eckstein has no chance to even go for the throw to first base. But as a manager, I mean, you've given yourself an opportunity to get out of this inning with your best pitcher on. He gets that ground ball, and defense comes into play so much in close games. Double play, you're on the bench in a tie ball game. You don't make the double play. Now you have some bigger pitches for Holiday to try to stay out, keep his team in the game.
Here's Melky Cabrera. He's had a big night, and there's a strike. Now, when Melky Cabrera hit the home run in the 6th inning, he came out and took a curtain call as Holiday was delivering a pitch to Johnny Damon, and Holiday at that time screamed at Melky Cabrera to get back in the dugout as if to say that ball wasn't hit far enough for you to take a curtain call. So an interesting matchup here as he deals the first 2 pitches for strikes. That kind of stuff sometimes rubs competitors the wrong way.
It does, but I think a lot of those things are just done on emotion. I mean, again, he's frustrated because he hit a ball right down the line. But again, if you look back at that at bat, Melky had fouled off, 6 or 7 pitches, tough pitches to get to that pitch.
The 0-2. He struck him out, and that will do it here in the 7th. But the Yankees squeeze home a run, and Halladay is not happy about it. 1 run, 1 hit, and 2 men left. We go to the 8th, and we probably go to the bullpen with the Yankees up by 1. Hey fans, tonight and throughout the Yankees season on Yes, we're allowing you to vote along with the 2 of us here in the booth for the Chevrolet Player of the Game. Text your vote to 58772, or for more information, visit ChevyOffers.com. You can vote right up until the end of the game. Vote now and make your voice heard. Tonight's candidates are number 1, Chin-Ming Wong, number 2, Roy Halladay, number 3, Melky Cabrera, and number 4, Alex Rodriguez. Standard text messaging, rates apply. Well, Jabba Chamberlain just electrified this ballpark. He leaves the Yankee bullpen and makes the run in through left center field as this 85-year-old ballpark starts to shake. As we follow him in, he was the darling of this fan base last year with 24 electrifying innings during the regular season. And the Yankees decided in spring training toward the end that Jabba Chamberlain would start the season as the setup man for Mariano Rivera. The ultimate plan down the line is to make Jabba a starter. They think that his stuff for legitimate pitches translates into being an outstanding starter. But right now, Joe Girardi wants him to pitch a scoreless 8th. You see what he did last year. 2-0, 0.38, 24 innings, 12 hits, 34 strikeouts, and 6 walks. He was warning a lot of people during spring training, don't expect me to be perfect all the time. It's hard to pitch in the big leagues. So we'll see. The adrenaline is probably surging through him right now as he takes the mound to pitch the 8th. Shannon Stewart, Alex Rios, and Vernon Wells. And a 95-mile-an-hour fastball is low.
These are the guys you worry about, Michael. I mean, that they come in with so much adrenaline that sometimes they try to overthrow for a couple pitches. I mean, Jabba Chamberlain has such a good fastball. He doesn't have to overthrow, and you hear that. He's got that pop, and it won't take Toronto long to figure out that, what this guy's bringing in from the bullpen.
Jabba's dad, Harlan, is here. Made the trip from Nebraska. Be here all week with Jabba as he gets Stewart to ground to second, 1 away. Let's take a look at the Blue Jays in-game box score sponsored by Heineken. There are 6 hits in that box score as Chien-Ming Wang pitches well in his first start. Stewart with an RBI. Marco Scudero didn't pick up a hit but walked and drove in a run. A double for Aaron Hill. Frank Thomas scored a run. And Alex Rios now has hit in 21 straight games against the Yankees with his base hit in the first. And here is Alex Rios, a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. As Rios might be distracted by all the flash bulbs going off. There's Dad Harlan. There's that killer slider. Check swing. Did he go? No, said Jerry Mills.
We saw those little kids early in the game that you know might be their first opening day at Yankee Stadium, and you're getting your money's worth. You're seeing a great game. You've seen 2 good starting pitchers. Now you're seeing Jabba Chamberlain come. I mean, these are the things that kids remember. And this is a neat opening day when you get this in this situation. Just like the script would write it out. 8th inning, go to Jabba Chamberlain. Hopefully 9th inning, if you're Joe Girardi, go to Mariano Rivera.
And the 1-2. Foul back. Now, last year when Jabba got to a 2-strike count, opposing hitters were 4 for 50 against him. And of the 46 outs he recorded, 34 were strikeouts. So that's an 080 batting average with 2 strikes.
Oh, he's got such a good fastball that hitters have to hit off his fastball. You can't look for his breaking ball, and that's where you wave at that thing. It's out of the strike zone.
And the 1-2. The Jabba not just dealing heat. He's throwing that off-speed pitch a bit.
That was one that he kind of hung in the zone. And you don't see that very often. Usually when he misses with that curveball, that slider, it's down in the dirt because he kind of overthrows it. That ball hung in the zone. And that's the ball that's dangerous.
Wants a new baseball.
We went over that in that spring training game with David Cohn when we were doing that game. Now, as a hitter, what are you thinking? You know, did he get a small baseball and he wants to throw a fastball? Or did he get one with seams where now he's thinking about throwing? And those are the weird things that start going through your mind.
The 1-2 upstairs.
And David Cohn went over when we did that game in spring training to kind of remind people that baseballs all feel a little different, and when you get a small one, you feel like you can really throw it hard. It's a good pitch, good one to throw a fastball. And some of them have the elevated seams where you can throw that good breaking ball.
What a difference a year makes for Jabba Chamberlain as he misses inside with the fastball. Last year, he wasn't even in big league camp. Started in A-ball and rocketed through the system and was pitching in the playoffs for the Yankees. Slow ground ball to third. If it stays fair, it is a hit, but it's a foul ball. Just kick foul.
Another breaking ball right off, cued off the end of the bat, and it just catches that inline. So that spin catches it foul.
Yankees 3, Blue Jays 2 as we start the 2008 season here at Yankee Stadium. 15 1/3 scoreless innings to start his career last year. Longest streak since Joe Doyle in 06. Breaking ball missed. And Chamberlain walks Rios. He didn't walk many people last year, but he issues the 1-out walk to Alex Rios.
This just kind of makes you scratch your head at the 3-2 breaking ball. But again, it's a tough pitch. And Rios, you see, kind of has that hesitation. I hope he doesn't call it. Ball's down.
Rios can run. Like most hard throwers, Chamberlain not that quick to the plate. Trying to keep him close.
Some of the things that Joe Girardi is going to do. I mean, as a manager, you'll throw over there trying to catch people leaning to give you an indication that you might be stealing. Girardi being the next catcher, obviously, is very good at that.
Looks like Derek Jeter has passed the baton, so to speak, to Joe Girardi. Joe Torre used to always have to hold the bat between at-bats for Jeter, and now Jeter looks like he's entrusted his bat to Joe Girardi. Robbie Thompson going through the signs, whether to pitch out or not. Count 2-0. There's Joe with the Jeter bat. That just seems to be one of the obligation for a Yankee manager. So Chamberlain does not have his pinpoint control as of this point. First outing for him.
Girardi's on a test run with that bat.
I guess.
A couple good games he'll have with the rest of the year.
He'll have it the rest of his career. 2-0. Grounded foul.
Talked about it earlier. There's going to be 2 or 3 situations throughout the game that are going to break the game. And again, we went through Holiday being through one of them. This is another one. Blue Jays have the guys they want at the plate in big situations coming up this inning, and Chamberlain in trouble.
There's that fastball. We have it at 94 miles an hour.
See Rios over there looks a little confused, trying to get a jump on Chamberlain and possibly stand. This is, as a base stealer, I mean, a lot of times you try to run on certain pitches and you try to pick a curveball. Chamberlain with 2 strikes throws that curveball a lot. So this is a good time for Rios. If you have you might steal, you try to pick a curveball because Jobber could throw that in the dirt, and obviously it's a tougher pitch to throw on.
Fouled away. You could see that Chamberlain has not quite built up the arm strength to the point that he had last year when he came up in August, because he would be throwing consistently 98, 99, 100, and he's about 94 with his fastballs tonight.
My question is, though, how long is it going to take him, because he's a relief pitcher now where he's using 2 pitches. He's using the fastball and the curveball, and you hear about his 4 pitches. If he does go in the future into a starting role, how long it's going to take him to control those 4 pitches the way he wants to. I don't know that you can pitch as a starter the way he does in the bullpen.
Runner goes. Breaking ball strike. Throw to second. Not in time. So Vernon Wells strikes out. A stolen base for Rios as he moves into scoring position.
It's a high strike, obviously, and Rios felt the same thing, and he was going to get a breaking ball. And again, I think that Wells thought that ball was up. Georgie comes out throwing. He blocks that umpire. An umpire has to make a call where he thinks that ball is going to react, and it didn't come down in the zone like he thought it was going to.
And it's kind of strange as well, Paul. Hitters usually jump on hanging breaking balls. That was not a great breaking ball.
No.
And this is Posada maybe blocking the getting up quickly. And Vernon Wells thought that was a high pitch right there. And it was a tough pitch to throw out a runner on, because if you're a base runner, you're looking for the breaking ball.
Sure.
So here's Frank Thomas, in all likelihood a future Hall of Famer, and a big moment in this game. We're in the 8th inning. Jays trail by 1. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it away. Frank Thomas knows how to drive in runs. He's had 11 seasons of 100 or more RBIs. We told you earlier, 513 home runs lifetime.
He had a good pitch, and you foul off a good pitch against Chamberlain, all of a sudden you get into a hole where he can go with that fastball in the corner, or he can start throwing that curveball again.
The 0-1. There's a strike. Painted the outside corner, 96-mile-an-hour heat.
That's a tough one to hit there, Michael. 96 right on the corner.
Opponents 0 for 16 last year against Java with runners in scoring position. He's trying to make it 0 for 1 in 08. Rios at second. The 0-2. He struck him out. It's time for the game summary presented by Sharp Oculus, the official HD TV of Major League Baseball. Melky Cabrera, a highlight reel with great defense. Also, a home run that tied the game at 2. And the Yankees squeak in a run a little bit later on, and now it's 3-2 after Java Chamberlain struck out Frank Thomas to end the top of the 8th inning. And the Yankees are 3 outs away from their first win of the season. But first, the bottom of the 8th inning, and a new pitcher for the Blue Jays. It's Scott Downs taking over for Roy Halladay. Top of the Yankee order, and Downs deals to Damon. Check swing. Did he go? No, he did not, said Paul Emmel at third. An impressive 7 innings for Roy Halladay. He did not get hit very hard. The home run just scraped the paint off the top of the wall. And the Yankees do lead 3-2, though. The 1-0. That one is laced into center field. It is a base hit past the diving Wells and going toward the center field wall. Johnny Damon running hard, rounding second, going to third. He's in there with a triple.
Good piece of hitting by Johnny Damon. You could tell the angle that Wells took at that ball. He was going to have to dive for it. And like we said with Melky, when you're in center field, you know that ball is going all the way to the wall. Johnny saw the same thing. It's an easy stand-up triple once that gets by the center fielder.
How about the wisdom of that dive? Is there any way else he could have played that?
No, I mean, you take he took a straight angle at that ball right when it was a hit, and as an outfielder, you know, your first couple of steps dictate what you can do with the ball, and right there he got in nowheresville. I mean, there was just no way to round it off. You might as well go for it.
Blue Jays bring the infield in with Derek Jeter at the plate. Pitch is high. Now that's a triple for Damon. He had 2 triples all of 2007. And the triple is 88th career triple. Scott Downs last year, a good year out of the bullpen. Less than a hit per inning and almost a strikeout per inning. Yankees lead 3-2, looking for a little insurance from Mariano Rivera. Chopped right back to Downs. Damon has to stay put, and there's one away.
With the New York Yankees here, you have to get this running. I mean, this is such an important run going into the 9th inning. It almost puts a nail in the coffin. And, you know, Jeet's so good at that. But you got the infield in now. You got a tough lefty matchup here. But, you know, if you're Bobby Abreu, you got to make sure you get this ball out of the infield and drive this run in.
And the infield remains in. Abreu tonight is 2 for 3. Singleton scored the Yankees' first run in the first, and then single to right in the 4th, a ground ball to second in the 6th. Grounded to Overbay. He will hold Damon. And there's 2 away. So Downs does the job against Jeter, and Abreu will now have to deal with Alex Rodriguez. Time now for the Yankees in-game box score, sponsored by Heineken. There are 8 hits in there. Damon, Jeter, 2 for Abreu, 2 for A-Rod. Robinson Cano picked up a single, an RBI for Matsui on a ground out, and a home run by Melky Cabrera. Jorge Posada had a walk, so did Jason Giambi. Now, do you walk Alex Rodriguez?
Absolutely. You got a left-hander on deck here. That is Downs' forte is to come in and get left-handers out.
Now, they could have gone another way if they didn't want to walk A-Rod. They have a right-hander warming in the bullpen if they wanted to go that route. But any pitcher against A-Rod, the way he hit last year and, the way he's hit his whole career, this is the move to make. Brian Wolf, a hard-throwing right-hander, is ready, but they're electing to go with Downs against Giambi as Mariano Rivera is about ready in the bullpen. The only call now is whether it's going to be a one-run lead he protects or something more.
And another thing that's going to come into play here, which usually doesn't in April with a lot of days off, they don't even have the days off this year. I mean, you've got 20-some games in a row. You're going to have to, use your bullpen like you do in, July and August, where you're playing every single day, especially coming out of spring where you don't want to burn some of these guys out.
With the rain out yesterday, the Yankees will play 20 games in a row. Lifetime against Downs, Giambi is 4 for 12, and one of the 4 a home run. Giambi has made a great play in the field tonight. He's 0 for 2 at the plate with a walk. The infield can back up, obviously, with 2 outs. And they have the shift on. Second baseman's in short right field. There's a breaking ball strike. A lot of the left side of the infield is open with Scudero about 20 feet off the line. Along with Paul O'Neill, I'm Michael Kay. You're watching Yankees baseball right here on Yes. Bottom of the 8th inning. Good game. Opening night. Yankees lead the Jays 3-2. And quickly Downs up 0-2.
Got to give Downs credit. I mean, you give up a leadoff triple, and all of a sudden you're 1 pitch away now from getting at it without giving up a run.
That leadoff triple to Johnny Damon. He's remained there after Jeter tapped back to the mound and Abreu grounded to first. Then an intentional walk to A-Rod to pass the baton to Jason Giambi. And the 0-2. Nice pitch. Giambi lays off, count 1-2.
Slider down off the plate. Tough pitch to hold up on. 0-2 off a left-hander. Again, we go over it. Giambi has such a good eye.
Runner goes. Pitch is grounded softly to Aaron Hill. And Downs works out of trouble. A leadoff triple wasted. No runs a hit, no errors, and 2 men left. Well, the last opening day at Yankee Stadium, how else would you close it in 9th inning but with the greatest relief pitcher of all time, Mariano Rivera. Hey fans, get another chance to see all the big hits and great plays another time around with WB Mason presents Yankees Encore later after each game and again the next morning at 9, and it's only on Yes. Well, Mariano Rivera was stylish when he came to the ballpark with his Burberry cap and a big smile, nice camel hair coat, and then he's stylish coming into the game. This is one of the grand entrances in sports in this grand old ballpark. Mariano slowly saunters through and then begins the jog to his office, his place of work, the mound here at Yankee Stadium.
What are those hats called?
Caps.
Caps?
Little caps.
I tried yours on. That thing could have fit Frosty the Snowman. That thing's huge.
It is a 3-2 Yankee lead, and Mariano Rivera will try to close it out. The final opening day here at Yankee Stadium. And it'll be Lyle Overbay, Aaron Hill, and Marco Scudero. So Jabba Chamberlain did his job. He pitched a scoreless 8th inning. Chin-Ming Wong did his job, giving up just 2 runs over 7 innings. And now Rivera. And the flashbulbs go off, and Overbay fouls it back. Now, the Yankees got off to such a dreadful start last year. Mariano didn't have many save opportunities. He ended up with 30, but he did not record his first save until April 28th of last year. He put together another fine season during the offseason. He signed a 3-year contract with the Yankees, and He's 37 years old, and he doesn't show any wear and tear whatsoever. The 0-1. Check swing and fouled away. You were here when he burst upon the scene in '95. Could you have ever envision this?
Well, he was a starter. I mean, you remember, he was, and just a nice kid, big smile. But yeah, you started to see him progress when he started setting up for Wetland. But man, oh man, I don't know if you ever see something as great as he's been.
The 0-2. Tried to get in on the hands of Overbay.
See, there's a big difference. You remember when I managed that the one time that Joe Torre, we had already clinched, and he said, you're going to manage today, and you know who my bench coach was Joe Girardi. But, you know, we couldn't use any of these guys. We didn't have Mariano. We didn't have Jeter. Now he's got all the stars to go out there and win with.
And you're up here.
See that? Huh? Doesn't seem fair.
Let's see if this button that he pushes works. The 0-2. Upstairs. The Yankees have won 10 straight home openers. And that ties them with the Pittsburgh Pirates for the longest such streak in Major League history. The Pirates did it from 1945 to 54. The Yankees started the streak in 1998. The 1-2. Strike three. Overbay down looking. Well, here at Yes, our award-winning Yankees coverage doesn't end with the last out. Stay tuned for the Nissan postgame with Bob Lorenz and David Cohn for a recap of all the events from this historic opening night against the Blue Jays, as well as highlights from around the league. Plus, Kimberly Jones has the inside scoop from the clubhouse. The Nissan postgame, it's coverage you won't get anywhere else, and it's only on Yes. Joe Girardi 2 outs away from his first Yankee win as a manager. Here's Aaron Hill. Pitches high. 1-0. Hill tonight, a 1 for 3. Led off the 7th with a double, but did not come around to score. Rivera tries to paint inside, and the count goes 2-0.
Oh, two-seamer, and you saw him strike Overbay out with a fastball in the outside corner, kind of a comeback little cutter. And you don't see that from Mariano against left-handed very much. That's a two-seamer to Hill that he's trying to get on the inside corner.
And the 2-0. There's a strike. With Mariano a free agent at the end of last year, after he signed the contract, he said he could not envision himself pitching anywhere else but here at Yankee Stadium. He said he wanted to be a part of this final season, and he also wants to be a part of the first season in the new ballpark, with an added year just thrown in.
Just in case. Huh?
Just in case. So many great moments from Rivera. Regular season, postseason, and trying to add one more page to the scrapbook with a big opening day save. The 2-2. High fly ball. Left center. Melky has plenty of room. The Yankees are 1 out away. The things that must be going through Joe Girardi's mind. He has worked toward this for a long time. Yes, he's managed before. He managed 1 year with the Marlins and actually won the National League Manager of the Year job.
Gotta be exciting, but it's gotta. The way that tonight's gone about is the neat thing. I mean, you've got good pitching. You've had a couple timely hits. You've got the manager bullpen, and you've got to hand the ball to Mariano in the 9th, and that's just textbook Yankee baseball.
Now here's Scudero, who had a walk-off home run against Rivera last year in Oakland. So there's some history in this matchup as Rivera starts him off with a pitch outside. This should do it. Ground ball to second base. Cano. And the Yankees win 3-2. Joe Girardi gets his first win as Yankee manager, and that is a happy young man as the Yankees start the final season here at Yankee Stadium in proper fashion with a crisp, clean 3-2 victory over the Blue Jays.
Well, he pushed all the right buttons. He kept in Chin-Ming Wong when he was wondering whether or not to. Then he brought in Jabba Chamberlain. And then the easy decision was, gee, I'll go with Mariano Rivera to get the final 3 outs in the 9th.
I guarantee he's going to be presented a baseball here real soon. Probably from Mariano.
Now he's heading right toward Girardi, and there he gives him. He used to pitch to Girardi, and now he hands the ball to Joe. And Joe will put that on his mantle, and he'll remember that always. His first win as a Yankee manager. You can see he is pretty excited right now. And the way he bounded out of the dugout, this game did mean a lot to him. He had to wait an extra day because of the rain out yesterday. And as he watches the final out of this game, he is pretty pumped up. Gets a hug from Kevin Long, Tony Pena, and the captain likes what he sees as well. And of course, we have to throw it down to our former colleague who's standing alongside Kim Jones in front of the Yankee dugout. Kim?
Joe's looking for his family. Joe, the smile says it all, but what was going through your mind? What are your thoughts right now?
Well, it was an outstanding game, and I actually thought the big inning was the 6th inning for us, where Melky Cabrera had the great at-bat and hit the home run and made Howday throw a lot of pitches, and then Johnny Damon did the same thing. He made him work, and I think that got his pitch count up, and it gave us a chance to win the game.
You also had some great defensive plays, Melky and also Giambi at first.
Yes, well, Melky played a great game, and so did Jason. I mean, Jason's been good all year. I mean, in spring training, his defense was outstanding, his offense, and that's why we left him in there. We loved what he's done so far.
And your pitching went just as you would have liked. Wong takes it right to Jabba and Mariano.
Well, that's kind of how you draw it up. It doesn't always work that way, but that's kind of how you draw it up.
What was it like to get that ball at the end there from Mariano?
It was great. It's great.
Any butterflies? Are you getting rid of some of that nervousness?
Well, I just have some emotions. It kind of reminds me when I used to catch Mo, and it was such an outstanding feeling when he came in the game, and to be able to manage him is really special.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Kim.
Michael?
Thank you, Kim. The Yankees pick up their 11th straight win in a home opener, and that is a major league record. But for Joe Girardi, he's 1-0. The other 10 wins don't really mean that much to him. The number 27 on his back, that's his destination, looking for the 27th world title for the Yankee organization. Getting a little ahead of ourselves, though, as Mariano Rivera saves Joe Girardi's first game. Yankees win this one 3-2. More to come. Stay right where you are. Well, the first of 81 home games that will finish the run of this Yankee Stadium. Well, it was a splendid game. It was quick, and there were a lot of great plays. We chose some of them. The Geico plays of the game, called Geico, and save 15% or more on your car insurance.
Well, they both happened in the 4th inning. You saw Melky go to right center. Now he goes back to left center. 2 good plays off Lyle Overbay and Aaron Hill line drive, and then he gets to the 6th inning on a 9-pitch at bat. Drops one in the front row, but that's enough here in Yankee Stadium.
That tied the game, and then the Yankees took the lead in the 7th, and they win this one 3-2 to give Joe Girardi his first win as a Yankee manager. 3-8-0 for the Yanks, 2-6-0 for the Jays. Wong the win, Halladay the loss. Rivera his first save, time the game 2:31. Alex Rodriguez picked up where he left off last year, 2 for 3, a double, a ribby, a run scored, and as we mentioned, the Yankees their 11th straight home opener win. Who's the Chevy player of the game? Well, you voted on it. Find out who you picked. And also, you got to stick around. Bob Lorenz and David Cohn will break it down on the postgame. Happy bunch of Yankees as they win this one 3-2 on opening night on Broadway. The curtain comes up on a hit. Yankees win this one 3-2. Time to announce the Chevy player of the game as voted on by you, the fans, and the 2 of us here in the booth. Who was chosen?
Well, the player of the game is Chin-Ming Wong on his first opening day start ever. 7 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. That's good enough to be our player of the game.
And remember, he won 19 games last year, Paul. Didn't really get a win until the end of April because he started the season on the DL with a leg injury. So he is way ahead of his pace from last season. Coming up on the YES Network, stay tuned for the Nissan New York Yankees postgame show with Bob Lorenz, David Cohn, and Kim Jones, featuring complete game analysis and interviews. The senior producer of the YES Network, and tonight's game produced by Kevin Smolin, directed by John Moore, pre- and post-game produced by Bill Bolin, and directed by Michael Cooney. Supervising producer Woody Fryman, and the executive producer of the YES Network is Mr. John Filippelli. Join us again tomorrow for Yankees baseball as the Bombers take on the Blue Jays, again right here at Yankee Stadium. The coverage begins at 6 p.m. with batting practice today, followed by the New York Yankees pregame in high definition where available. For more on the YES Network, all you have to do is log on to YesNetwork.com. Once again, the final score on opening night. The New York Yankees 3 and the Toronto Blue Jays 2. We'll be back with some final thoughts from the booth in just a moment. But now, let's go to Bob Lorenz and David Cohn, who are standing by patiently in our studios. Guys?
All right, Michael, thank you. Great to have you with us here on the Nissan postgame. Bob Lorenz, David Cohn, a 3-2 Yankees win in their delayed season opener. And, you know, if you first day of class, Yankees textbook for the 2008 season, get a lead, 8th inning Jabba, 9th inning Mo, lock it down. It really did go according to plan.
It did. Nice, clean game. Things. Also the defense, too. Great defense behind Wong tonight. Really saved him in a couple of big instances. And obviously a big win for Joe Girardi, his first game.
Well, we heard the emotion. He was talking to Kim Jones after the game. Really, what does that mean to him? Not only just getting the win, but just moving on beyond that first win. He knew he'd get it sometime, but what a nice relief to get it in the first game.
Huge relief. And, you know, he's so prepared. And that rain out yesterday, you know it bothered him. You know he didn't sleep last night. And, of course, his wife's there in the stands. His family's going to be there every game. And you could see him look in the stands for his wife and how supportive she's been.
All right, well, let's get to a pivotal moment in the game. And let's pick things up in the 7th inning. The game was tied at 2. And Alex Rodriguez led off against Roy Halladay with the base hit to right field. His second hit to right field, by the way. Next man up, Jason Giambi. Good at bat, draws a walk. They're making Halladay work. Next man up, Robinson Cano, the chopper. Heads up by Jason Giambi, who stops. And instead of 2 outs, there's 1, David.
Yeah, I really thought Eckstein made the wrong play there. You got to go ahead and tag Giambi there and keep the double play in order. He kind of gets baited into it, and a great play by Giambi.
So what it sets up is 1 out, 2nd and 3rd. The next man up, Halladay intentionally walks Jorge Posada to load the bases, and Hideki Matsui ground ball to second. It's knocked down by Aaron Hill, but the best he can do is get it to second base. The go-ahead run scores, and as it turned out, that would be the ball game. So, you know, just some different things happening on the base paths. I thought that was really heads up by Giambi. But the Yankees here playing, if you want to say it this way, small ball, manufacturing a run in that inning.
Yeah, they really did. And they caught some breaks. Certainly the play with Eckstein at second base there. The double play ball, too, could have easily been turned. Kind of, you know, Hill got handcuffed on second base. A lot of great defensive plays behind Wong tonight, too. Melky Cabrera with great catches in center field.
All right, so it's a 3-2 game at that point. Now you go to the next page of the script, or the next chapter, and it's Jabba Chamberlain, 8th inning. And take us through that, because it was pretty efficient for him.
Well, this is pretty dramatic. You know, you can already see the cult hero status and the anticipation walking in. The thing that makes him so effective is that breaking ball and that fastball. That combination is deadly. He's got no 2 count right there, and he goes right after him with the fastball. No messing around. That curveball just breaks straight down. Looks like it's down the middle. Great at-bat by Rios there. Gets the call there.
Against Vernon Wells. Yeah, that was a strikeout.
And then, of course, the high heat. And that sort of reaction right there you see with Jabba. I mean, that's nice on opening night. You might want to tone that down a little bit as the season goes along, but certainly understandable with all the build-up and him pitching on opening night.
Now, let me ask you about that at-bat with Frank Thomas there in the end, the strikeout. He had him 0-2. Again, the book says you throw one, you waste one, you see if he chases it. I wonder if Thomas was thinking that in the back of his mind, knowing that Jabba has such nasty off-speed stuff, and instead he throws him a 98-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, he does. And that's the thing that makes Jabba so interesting, and why they probably think of him as a starter maybe in the future, because he will throw any pitch at any time. But to see that kind of aggressiveness is certainly in the 8th inning when he's in a 1-inning roll. 0-2 pitch. Here it is. We're gonna go right after you, and I kind of like that. You don't want to always waste pitches, especially when you're in a 1-inning roll.
Yeah, and I think it keeps a guy, even a great hitter like Frank Thomas, off balance if he thinks something off speed is coming. Now let's wrap it all up with Mariano Rivera. Again, going according to plan. Mo comes in the 9th, and well, I don't know what else to say, but typical Mo.
This is classic Mo. The big difference there, kind of a backdoor cutter. Mo's really gotten better over the years of being able to work both sides of the plate. We actually saw a 2-seam fastball in there that he got the fly ball to Melky on to end the game. So. Or to get the second out, rather. And then classic Mo again, you know, the cutter down and away. He just can't do anything with that pitch. And, you know, 12 pitches, Mo's so efficient. Contrast that to Jabba in the 8th inning where he had 24 pitches and a couple runners and strikeouts and emotion. You know, Mr. Efficient right there, Mariano Rivera, for so many years.
And look at the yellow line there. His first save last season came on April 28th. Tonight he gets it in the season opener. So, again, things going according to plan. Now, as for Chien-Ming Wang, we kind of wondered on the pregame show if he'd have it, when he'd have it. Would he be too strong because he had an extra day of rest? You know, take us through at least 1 inning and some of the things you saw that made Chien-Ming Wang efficient.
Yeah, you know, the thing I liked is that he was missing down, and there's actually a changeup there, one of the few ones we saw, but I still think that's effective, and a sinker down. We've seen Wong pound his sinker, and not have much to go to when he gets in trouble, but mixing in those two changeups, right there's another one, really keeps Zahn off of that sinker and gets the ground ball and gets the out. So even though he didn't get outs with the changeup, it was effective in that at-bat.
And, you know, whenever he does give up runs, he never lets the floodgates open. I think that's what makes him, you know, really stand out and why he's back-to-back 19-game winner. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on the Nissan postgame. When we come back, we've got a lot more coming up. We'll talk to Michael Kay and Paul O'Neill. We will hear from Joe Girardi, get further reaction to his first win, and, of course, Kim Jones is in the clubhouse. She'll talk to the players as well. A lot more coming up here on the Nissan postgame, so don't go away.
The Yankees postgame show on Yes, presented by Nissan, who invites you to shift the way you move through the world.